What is going on, kids? Can y'all hear me? Did I wake T-Fetch up? Am I too loud, guys, or is that just my headphones that are too loud? Chris229, channel member, major giveaway enabler. And we do have a giveaway tonight, which I will tell you guys about. And he's a channel member. Thank you, guys. Colby, what is up, my man? We got Marco in the house. We got, let's see, I know a lot of people are still watching MC. As a matter of fact, I had him streaming up in the corner just in case one of y'all wins, if y'all have been over there. But how is everybody doing? T-Fetch, you out of here, buddy? You know, this is the first time, and I was about 4.5 minutes late. I've been going out. I walked out to try to get Tippy to come in. Not that y'all care, and I won't spend too much time on it. But I walk out there, and that yellow cat's there. And see, they're mortal enemies. They hate each other. But anyway, so I had to feed the yellow cat to get her off the porch and back towards her house. So Tippy will come back before my wildlife reigns supreme. I've got crazy wildlife going on around my house, guys, and I'm in Alabama. So before we get into knife stuff, I want to share something with you. I don't know if y'all saw my my Instagram post the other day, but I pull up and I see this squirrel, you know, in my yard. I'm coming up the side yard. This is in my backyard. And about that time, I just see this big flash of fucking raptor, right? And so I pull up, turn into my driveway, and I figured it would fly off because I was like 8 feet away from it. My truck was. And it didn't move. I didn't see it move. So I get out of my truck, have them carrying like 3 bags, and then I kind of creep around this other car that's in my driveway. And he's just standing there, dudes, and he is just munching on this squirrel. Nobody listens to Eric. What is up, Acid Test Kids? What is up? And I was going to show you a picture of this majestic beast. If I could get it pulled up. There it is. I think that'll show it good enough. Let me see. So my post said red-tailed hawk 1, Sammy squirrel 0. So we're sitting there, I'm watching it, and there's a couple with 2 dogs, like bull terriers, walking up the street. And then there's an older guy coming around the corner on the other way. So there's getting ready to be a convergence because I'm going to be saying hi to him of 3 people and 3 dogs. So I figured it would get crazy, right? Well, the dogs weren't even barking at each other. They're watching this freaking hawk. Guys, it had to be 2.5 feet. I think I got another picture of it. Hold on. It had to be 2.5 feet tall. Here's the other picture. Let's see if this will just let me share it. I don't know if it will or not. But so anyway, it jumps up for like 3 feet when all the people come up and we start talking. And then it immediately comes right back down to eat the squirrel. And for the rest of the time, we all just sat there. Right now, it's looking at the people in the street while I'm sitting there taking pictures of it. But look at the muscles on its legs. And there's a squirrel squished in there. Or by this time, because like I said, I'd pulled in and parked, and I'm sure the takedown was instantaneous, right? But that, and then so that's nature. That when I first pulled up, I was making sure it wasn't black and white. But Tippy was outside. Tippy was under my truck watching it happen too, watching it getting eaten after I pulled in. But just totally wild. I mean, it's just a trip. And then so I've been hanging out with my possums, as you guys have seen, because I've shared those dudes with you when they come around. And wildly enough, I'm hanging out there. I guess would have been if today's Friday, it would have been probably I think it was over the weekend because I think I talked about it Tuesday night. But I've got a family, not a family, it's just a husband and wife or 2 males or 2 females or just 2 hanging out raccoons that come up, and they are super cunning. I mean, where the possums are totally low key and all they do is kinda chill, the, uh the raccoons are, like, super sneaky. So, like, when I walk by the door, they just freeze and look at you. It's kinda funny. Alright, metal complex is drawn. Hold on, guys, let me tell you who won. DMERZ84, Demirs. So if any of y'all are DMERZ84, you are the winners. I think it's kind of funny. I go over there, let me close that out. I go over there. What's up, Paul Mills? My brother from another mother. We were just talking nature. Did you see the pictures of the Sammy the squirrel killer? And no, it wasn't Tippy. I want to show it one more time in case Paul missed it. Hold on a second. Where was it? Where was it? Here it is. Check this out, Paul. So I pull up the other day, right? And they're like rabbits in my yard, there's squirrels in my yard. And I see this big flash of like darkness. I didn't really pay attention to what it was. It just was kind of out of the ordinary. And then when I parked, I realized it was a fucking raptor. It was this red-tailed hawk. And that's Sammy the squirrel in his talons. And the reason his head's cocked back is he's looking towards the street. Now I've parked my driveway's kind of looking right at him. And so he's looking at the street because a husband and wife and their 2 bulldogs are walking up the street towards me, which is past him. And there's another guy and his dog that had just turned the corner walking up towards them, which will be past him and away from him. And usually you would think I was about to say, this is going to be crazy. The dogs are going to bark, right? Well, the hawk jumps up like 4, maybe 5 feet, looked like it was going to fly off, thought about it for a second and said, fuck this, and just landed. So this is after it landed back on the squirrel and it's just sitting there watching. And what was so wild about it is the dogs, because I see these dogs, so they bark at each other, right? But these dogs were mesmerized by this hawk because when it's standing there in that pose, it's probably as big as a yardstick, maybe a little bit smaller than a yardstick, but it was no small hawk. Craig, what is up? Level on up. What is up? Welcome, guys. Welcome. Have I missed anybody? I talked to brother Chris, and guys, thank Chris because the last 3 giveaways, even one of our member giveaways, was thanks to his generosity. Tonight, we're just going to do a in the house giveaway, and this is a different knife. This is a full size knife, but this is a very, very interesting knife, and I've totally enjoyed it. And I've actually spine whacked this because it's a heavy duty knife, and they market it as a heavy duty knife. It's like a $50. I can't remember if it's right under 50 or like 52. It's the Concept Helix D2 micarta steel. It's a Mikhail Williamson design. And what's cool about it, A, is it's got this weird tanto blade. Hold on. And I sharpened it. I put an edge on it after I absolutely hacked, because the reason this grip is, I asked them why this grip, because you don't feel it much in your hand, but it's very grippy. Where the micarta they used, I don't know about the G10. They've got a couple of other materials here, but it's angular, right? Because it's a Mikhail Williamson design. It's not contoured, but you've got this back grip. See how you've got this choil here and this choil here? So this choil here is kind of like my cardboard ripping choil or my whittling choil or my really use it choil. But this is a specific zombie apocalypse. Or what I did was I've got this quarter of about 160 or 70-year-old oak tree that got blown over in a tornado in the cemetery, the old Civil War part of the cemetery in our neighborhood. It's called Maple Hill. You can Google it, Maple Hill Cemetery. You can Google Civil War Cemetery and you'll see this big ass oak tree. Well, it's not there anymore. It was right in the corner of the wall. It got blown over, fell over sideways, but they cut it up and people were coming down getting parts of it. So I figured, well, I'll get a piece of it to hack on it. So it's very, very hard. Um, and let me tell you, this knife in D2 did not roll. And I rarely use stuff hard. That's my, I don't ever say that I do. What's up, Space Ghost? I never claimed to be a user, but I felt like if I was going to give concept accurate feedback on this knife, especially with it being a button lock, which by the way, it has no stick. It has great detent because I say it's only a flipper, but if you get down low on the blade, which is not really natural, you can middle finger flick it, but the flipper tab works so good in either a light switch or a push button that there's no need to do anything else. The clip works great, but this is a freaking chopping grip. And if Tippy comes up and when I go lit her in, I can show you where I've chopped V's into this wedge, which is kind of a triangle, which you know what a wedge is, but it's a wedge of oak wood. And it did not roll the blade. I cut paper. There were a couple little snags on it because I broke down a lot of cardboard with it. Again, I'm not a knife tester. I go to Duty for that. I go to Stasa for that. I go to people, Cedric and Ada, anybody that's testing a knife. But I know that my personal use is I enjoy them. I was kind of thinking about this the other day. Why am I into Terrence? What's going on, brother? Welcome, welcome, welcome. El Cap, welcome, brother. I asked myself, what is this addiction? Because I haven't been able to buy knives lately. I've been blessed by a couple of companies, and then I've got a good buddy in town. And y'all always say, I do want to kind of pimp for him. I'd like to see him. I think he's grossly underfollowed on Instagram, but it's A to Z EDC. He's my buddy who goes to Blade Show with me. He's the buddy that let me review. Let me get my other screen back up here. Let me exit solo mode. He's the guy that let me check this out, which is a Herman Ishtar, which is not my number one Herman. I think I like the B and I also like the Sting, but this just because this is a big knife and I'm a little guy, right? So this is this is right around the size of my Spartan Harsey SHF. So, right, it's like 4-inch blade. It's right under 4 inches, but it's a nice Persian blended with ultra modern CNC scales. It's got on the inside of the back spacer, I think it's from Poland with love. Hold on. Let me see what it said. Proudly made in Poland is what it says on the inside of the back spacer. But what I want you guys to look at, and I did it in a review, but it's not going live, I don't think, till Saturday. But if you look at this clip, there's micro milling on this entire knife. The clip is 100% smooth and milled out for the entire path to that almost fully deep carry clip. I've been putting this in my pocket, and to me, it's simple engineering excellence because if you can, I don't know if that's showing up. Let me make this big. Bear with me, guys. Neil McKenzie, member for 14 months. Buddy, we're going to have a member giveaway coming up. I guarantee you at least one a month, probably two a month, and they're going to be good ones. I've started to reach out specifically for the 15K giveaway, which is going to be not published. You're not going to see videos going, help me get to 15K. We're going to have a big giveaway. It's just going to be, I'm going to let y'all know that if we get close to 15K, when we do, I'm planning to have a Friday Night Flicks just like this. And we're going to have some special giveaways amongst us. If I pick up a few subscribers, great. I'm not looking to pick up people because of knives, right? I always say I give away knives because I'm just starting to get knives that I would definitely feel like I need to give away. But I felt like I needed to pass along knives when I started the channel because I wasn't carrying them I could get a little bit trading or selling them, but I've got enough knives. And what I loved about the community when I first came into it, and what I still do, is watching people get gifted a knife, right? Or getting a Taco Bell, ouchie EDC. Oh, we got a story about Taco Bell. I'll try not to get into it, but I can give you a preview. It's nothing that was positive. It was the reason I didn't get to join Pocket Metal on Metal Mondays. It was where is it? Where's my noise that goes with it? I've got it on here somewhere. Here it is. It was bad. I woke up in a sweat the next day. I think I got some kind of food poisoning. But what I was going to show you guys on this clip, let me see if it's easier to see on my webcam. Because what I want you to see is how you probably can't see the micro milling on this knife, but just picture let's try the other one as a solo cam. My phone's going to do better. Hold on one second. See solo, boom. All right. You guys, can you see the micro milling on that? Probably not. I've got too much light coming down on it. But the clip is what I want y'all to see. So there's micro milling everywhere except from the ramp. You can see the wide open, divoted down pathway that goes all the way to where that deep carry is. But this ramp has kind of what I'd call a detent ball ramp. It's got an easier, more gentle slope that goes down into that deeper kind of gorge. So it goes over your hem. The bottom line is this clip and this way of marrying it, this titanium clip to this titanium knife, in my opinion, is genius. Again, this knife, personally, I can appreciate everything about it. It's really piqued my interest because these knives, although not American made, they're made in Poland, up there with the same type of precision that, you know, it's different than a Riot. It's different than a Wii. It's different than a Riot collab. I mean, this is made by a guy. I forget his first name. Hold on. He signed off on this certificate of authenticity on this one, which I think was made in 2023, August of 2023. My buddy bought it used. But if you go to Polish Custom Knives, and there's some jeweled out blinged ones, but there are also some that are priced very reasonable. And what I like to do is go to makers. His name is Bartosa Herman or Bartos Herman. So there's pictures of him on Instagram. But the B is, or the Sting or the Micro Sting. I like the Slim too. Those blade styles are more my jam than the Persian. But this B, he's been posting a lot. So $737. And this one's kind of flashy, but it's got the same genius clip inside the back spacer. In the inside of the back spacer, you've got, I don't know what it says on the back. Let's see it. That's the inside of the back spacer, perfectly centered, captive pivot. There's a good picture of that ingenious non-grab in your pocket clip. That's the back spacer where it terminates towards the deployment of the blade. That's the corner. So it says B on the outside, numbered. That one's an RWL 34. The one I've got in my hand is Magna Cut. So they work with all blade steels. Comes with a tool, with oil, with a steel card. And they're like the same money, a little bit less than a wonderful Lamia or a wonderful Rosie if you can get one at table. The good thing about Herman's, if that's something that you're kind of interested in, I've just learned that Polish custom knives, so I mean, I know MC works with them a lot. I know my buddy A to Z is very close to getting a full size Sting. Let me see if they've got any of those in stock. They've been posting. Yeah, I doubt they've got one Sting, so you can get a fancy Herman too, but you can get a Sting for $700. But that's a one and done, right? Exquisite. I mean, just a one and done. But they make beautiful stuff. I'd never been even aware of it. To be honest with you, they had never really captured my attention. I'd been seeing them on Instagram, and I'll show you the picture that I don't know if you guys saw it, but it's this jigsaw puzzle pattern on this Herman. I don't know if y'all follow them. If not, our Polish Custom Knives. If you don't follow those guys on Instagram and you like looking at crazy expensive knives, because I appreciate the fact that somebody's making those. So if we go to Polish Custom Knives and I show you this, my buddy A to Z and I were trying to figure out why is this particular pattern so expensive. We've seen Mettenboss. There are others that do a scale that's got a similar pattern to this. But if you look at this up close, you will see that those, why does it change? That those have displacement. Each one of those puzzle pieces are an actual puzzle. So, or they're chiseled at different heights. I don't know if the machine cut it that way. I'm not a knife maker, but it's very, very special to me because I don't know anything about making a knife, but that's not just a fancy. Would I ever buy one of those? Absolutely not. That's a B. But can I appreciate it with everything in me? And they're doing wacky stuff that's different, right? I mean, that looks like wood. But if y'all hadn't checked out, you might bounce around Polish custom knives. If you're looking at something that's a little more crazy and you hadn't paid attention to those guys, because Polish custom knives has other makers, right? So that's my daughter. She's doing a pose like me. I don't know if y'all can still see that. Yeah. That's me in 1991 at the Dead shows in Atlanta. That's her 2 years ago. And we've got the same hair and genetic makeup. But anyways, the funny thing is this is my, for some reason it defaults to my child account. So I have to go to home and now it's automatically pulling out all the people I follow. So River's Edge is having their big thing this weekend. If any of y'all are in the Ohio area, that's somewhere I would go. Huge fan of Jacob Creates. If Shane, if you're in here who makes fun of me because he makes little knives that I pay too much for, which I agree to that, he also makes full-size knives that are, maybe that's not quite full size, but that's EDC size, and those are bangers. I forget what he calls them. Hail Marys. So he's got drop points, and he uses all blade steels depending on the drop. I spent my whole life thinking out the box, boxing homies 3-on-1. That's probably gonna get me a copyright. So anyway, my feed is a constant temptation to buy things that I don't need. But I'm going to tell you guys something, and I hope you're not hating them. Ian Coates, what is up, my brother from another mother? Guys, when I disappear and start talking on rants, I'm unfortunately looking at another page like Instagram, trying to lead y'all through it, and I don't see the chat. I, Brandon, don't have that any kind of tool manipulation or electrical. I don't have the manly skills to anodize. No, I never do it, but I trade out my scales all the time. So I'm the guy. I did a video the other day on that today that's getting no views, and I don't blame it because I'm putting skiffs in a drop bear just because I could. I had the skiffs, and it was a total fucking nightmare. I give up at the end you see me throw all the pieces on this little tray, and then the next shot is it put back together because I cooled off, put it together. I was having trouble getting the springs on. Couldn't remember if they went on the inside of the liners or outside. But anyway, funny video. I hated doing it, but when I tinker with my knives, I feel like I might as well record it. And I'm going off on a rant, but not because I want to get views on it. It's because when I was looking for help to take apart my knives, I went to YouTube. So I think the more knives, even if they're stupid knives, like the nip that I've upgraded 3 regular nips and a nip light with skiff bearings, which don't need them because they all have great bearings. It's really just to show somebody how easy they are to take apart and a couple little things you got to look out for, right? I've not or will not take this apart because I know from Lefty, this is a concept made knife and probably my favorite Devo, the Lush. There's still a couple available at traditional pocket knives, and it's an exclusive. So you can use, I don't think my code or any of the creators' codes work. I think you have to use NIP, TPK, and you can save $5. And I think there are 2 variations left, but it's got a washer inside of it. So Lefty had to find a certain size washer to go with the size skiff that needed to be, that would work with it, right? And he did it, but it's not something that I think I want to do or any of us need to do because the washers in it, just like 99% of the others, are fine. But my big thing, I'm going to go off on a quick skiff rant because I've got a good example right here. Hold on, if I don't knock everything over. I was going to show you a bearing I pulled out of a knife next to a skiff, just so you guys can see what I'm talking about. Now, this is a little bitty, let's see if I can find a bigger one. Let's see if I can find a bigger skiff that'll show up better on camera. All right, that one will. We'll look at that skiff. And I took my McNeese bearings out because I put thick washers in. That's another thing for about $7. If you want to see how your Civivi element or your Civivi baby banter, like I've got, or how your hinders work on a phosphorus bronze washer that's thick, the same size as the bearing, where you don't have to stack them up. But I wanted to show you, I must have in a different bag, some of the ones I've taken out because the same size bearing, for example, damn, man. I know I've got one set of bearings in the bag where I don't have to get up and get them. That's the type of struggles I make for you guys. And I dug all that way to find another set of skiffs. All right. I will not be defeated. You will sit tight. Please sit tight for no more than 15 seconds. Time me. If I'm longer than 15 seconds, I'm a bad boy. I was bad and I found the wrong bearing, so hold on. I apologize. So what happened there, unfortunately, is I've got 2 little drawers of bearings that came out of knives that are perfectly good. But a lot of them are solid, like solid Delrin with ceramic balls, which are really good. I mean, I keep all my bearings. I don't throw them away. I'm not trying to fill landfills or anything crazy like that. And I put them in other knives, right? Ceramic bearings versus metal bearings. Brandon, good, very good question. And in my experience, which is very subjective, because I'm going to show you what I think the differences are. And what I like to specifically, because I'm a Hinderer fan and I don't have one out here. Hold on. When you get your Hinderer Triway, if you look at a Hinderer Triway, which is a kind of an expensive knife for all practical purposes, very expensive knife. You get your Hinderer Triway and it comes with a Triway system. It comes with bearings inside, comes with phosphorus bronze washers, steel washers to make them fit right. Where instead of you can buy a skiff phosphorus bronze washer for the same thickness, or it has a what I call it, the plastic washer, whatever you want to call it. But anyway, I always switch my hinderers to skiffs. They're made in America by Scott Skiff, right? And they're made for his skiff custom knives. That's why they started making their own bearings in the first place. They couldn't source bearings that they were comfortable with in the US. Alex Steingraber now uses them for SPK knives for the Lamia. And I always put them in my hinderers. So, because what Scott does is he knows the knives that you can replace them with, and he makes them perfect. So, I'm going to show you the difference. For one, the ceramic I feel is smoother, but that's not why I get them. Even if the knife does not necessarily feel smoother, I feel you get much less. And I'm an English psychology major, so this does not come from an engineering background. But every time I switch bearings, same size, let's say I'm switching a smaller knife, I'm switching a 9 bearing. So there are 9 bearings around the same circumference for a 12 bearing or 12 bearing on the same size skiff. Not to mention all the bearings that come even from the nicest Riots. See how that's stamped? See how on that side there's a track that those balls sit in? And when I flip it over, that's the side I always put blade side. See that there? So that's blade side. And then if you flip it over, when it focuses, or decides to, it's got a little track. Which again, I'm an English psychology major. I don't know what the tolerances are, but I know it's stamped. So if we look at a skiff, which by the way, I think they list for around $12, maybe a little bit more on bigger ones. I put them in all my Demcos. I put them in almost everything. Most of the knives y'all have won on Friday Night Flicks, if you take it apart, it's got skiffs in it. But because I enjoy updating them. All right. So these are just regular, same deal. These came out of my Liangma cuff. So this is a Riot bearing or a Riot source bearing. Looks just like that. Has one on the floor. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 balls. So I know from my experience, the same size skiff, which I don't think I have, but I've got one that I can show you the difference, would have 13 balls. So that's more surface area when you look at them that's in contact with the blade and the liner or the scale that is moving, that has less opportunity to wobble, right? Because you've got more surface area. You've got 13 balls tighter together than 9 balls spread out more. So even though they're spread out by an engineer, so I'm sure they're not going to move, but in my mind, which is a goofball English psychology major, it makes sense to have those extra 3 balls. Plus, where I think the real difference lies is in the way that Scott makes them. Now, on my Evo, when I was doing some maintenance on it, if y'all watched that video, you might have noticed one of my balls came out. I noticed it was not in there. I was missing 1 ball. So I had like 19 on one side, they were double rowed, and 18 on the other. Well, I found the ball. It happened to be sitting on my mat. I pushed it in there. I mean, I didn't have to have a machine. I just pressed it in the hole and it's in there. You know, I don't know if I'm sure if I called Steve, I would get another one. he would be happy to send me one. I don't think that's common. But when you see these, and if you watch him make them, because there are videos on his website, they come around the machine. Let me get it to focus. So this is about the same size. We can't really do apples to apples because I don't have my cheat sheet on this side to see if it's exactly the same size bearing. Hold on, why is it not focusing? All right. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So that's a little 11 ball. And you can tell that it's phosphorus bronze and ceramic. And then when I flip it, it's also solid. So it's a solid ceramic washer or a solid bronze washer, phosphorus washer. Duh. Maybe I'll try it on the third time. It's a solid phosphorus bronze washer with press fit little ceramic balls in them. And they don't fall out. I don't know how my one fell out when I was cleaning my Evo out, but they came with skiffs from the buddy I traded them with. But that's why people say, why do you buy skiffs? For knives that really aren't expensive, like this knife, which will be a giveaway in the next couple of weeks, I put skiffs in it because I have fun taking them apart. Did it need it? Not really. Would I recommend it? Not for this price knife. But if I was going to get a knife that I knew I was going to carry a lot, like any of these, all my Liang Ma's, I think they make the knife better. A, because I know Scott. I know the quality of skiff knives. I don't know if you've ever seen Skiff Customs. Go to their website, look at their knives. They'll never be available. Well, no, they're caged, but they're just they're press fit, Ian, if you're talking to me. But anyways, this was the last one that I wanted to take apart because this knife has been kind of my grail. This knife, even though it wasn't the grail in terms of money that I spent on knives, this is probably my favorite knife. I don't know why. It's the combination of the detent, how it fits my hand, and how well it cuts. I've got other knives that I love too, so I could never pick one, but this one's up there. But I didn't really want to take it apart, but I'd heard that skiffs made it better. Thanks, Kevin. And it did. It absolutely did. Because I think I went here from an 11 ball. This might have double rows. But yeah, it makes a difference if you like that kind of stuff. Ian, everybody talks to you, brother. We love you. And I owe a lot of people hellos, like Mike Jernak, channel member, but he is not a moderator. So hold on one second while I jump over here. When I see people that are regulars and they're not moderators, why is it not getting big? All right, guys, I'm having technical difficulties. Make y'all little for a second. What the fuck? All right, it's not gonna let me do it. So I'm gonna have to, we're gonna have to do something crazy here. But it's worth it. So y'all just bear with me for 1 second. Remember, there's a giveaway. Javon, go to my live. Make sure the volume is muted. It is. It's fine, Brother Mike. Jernak, and make him a moderator. Mike Jernak, you are now moderator, sir, which means with great responsibility or with great power comes great responsibility. It'll keep you out of jail. Should Shane come and try to bully you or anybody else, you can put people in timeout if you need to, but treat people with love. They won't give you a hard time. All right, I'm going to take a real quick, I found the other bearing. And we are back to normal, guys. Let me get back to the regular screen. There's a delay. I was just looking. I went down. Dwayne Letterman, what's up, brother? I just bent down to pick up the bearing that I dropped, and it's not the right bearing. Yeah, it is. I went down to pick up the bearing I dropped and had my other thing where I just gave Mike his wrench. Y'all are seeing me probably 5 to 10 seconds after I say something. So I need to remember that when we do the giveaway, because I do want you guys here, if possible, when we do it. Where'd that other bag go? Oh, well, fuck it. So, yeah, if any of y'all, now, you would have to tell me either if I did not own the knife, you would have to tell me what knife you were looking for and what size bearings. But if you needed new bearings, factory bearings, like from whatever your knife came from, I've got them all labeled, like my Knoll, Voodoo, my Brian Brand. I mean, if you would like or need or Evo factory bearings, hook a brother up with the DM and be patient for me to wait, because I don't check Instagram every day. As you noticed, or if you haven't, hopefully you haven't, I don't do a lot of social media marketing. I do a lot of stories, because those take just a little bit of time, and some of those are affiliate partners who've been kind enough. If you look at anybody on my affiliate list, and I'm just preaching it because it's truth, they're only retailers and makers that I spend my hard-earned money. When I was making hard-earned money, I'm making no money now, so it's not like I've had a windfall. But the truth is, I could take you all through my accounts, because I kept accounts for tax reasons, and that's where I bought all my knives. They took care of me. They had the knives I wanted, basically River's Edge Cutlery, GP knives, DLT, occasionally Blade HQ. Not often. When I started, they got me in the hobby. Their social media content, when it was Zach and Ben. No, not Ben. Was it Ben? Yeah, Ben and Zach. That's what kind of hooked me into the other creators. So I will always be indebted to them for that. And they just did some shitty things, in my opinion, on the way that they made right. But I like the littler guys. And like River's Edge Cutlery, what they're doing this weekend with their open house, whatever they call it. I know Ben Belkin's flying out there, and I think a lot of their manufacturers, right? These are partners that an entity like River's Edge Cutlery buys 50 knives or however many they negotiate, right? So they're giving the makers an immediate market, and then they're taking the risk plus the margin that they make, which is usually about 20, maybe 30%. I think, if I've heard Kevin right, I could be wrong, to sell those knives. So it's a huge win-win. And I know when St. Nick's does their thing here, when we were going to do our meetup, which we're still going to do sometime, our Southeastern North Alabama meetup, a lot of vendors are willing to fly in, because the ones I've met, which have been much less than I should have in 3 blade shows, but I just spent blade shows hanging around with Ian, Ed Harrison, Jim Miller, we all weirdoed out in the hall, right? One of my best days there was sitting in the hall with Snuzz, the first blade show, my buddy A to Z EDC, go follow him on Instagram, said Stevie when he was Stevie Wonder Woman, and Matisfaction, eating pizza on the floor at the place, and we just talked. And this was when Snuzz was on the trail, not the Appalachian, but the Pacific Northwest Trail. And it was just, I mean, my point is, if you meet those guys and gals, even if they don't speak the same language, they love knives. I, I I got a relationship, and I don't get a lot of knives from them, but they've been very generous. But from Vosteed, because Lou, one of the designers, and his girlfriend, the lady who was working with him 2 years ago, recognized me from back when I used to do a lot of driving and flipping videos. They just happened to follow me. We're a small kind of group, is my point. So there are a lot of companies out there, possibly this one that I wanted to talk about, that are just there for the dollars. And there are really good people out there that want to make the best knives. and do a good job. So the Swiss Tech, this is almost at 1,000 views. Let me see if it crossed 1,000. And it's Walmart. You can only get it at Walmart because I looked, I tried, I was curious. I even reached out to Swiss Tech. But hold on, let me tell you. Let's go here. Go here. It is at 1,038 views. So I go yesterday to Walmart to pick up my dad some equates because he's, dementia. I take care of him and he loves those things. So I walked by their sporting goods area and they had these knives hanging and I need to get the packaging. Hold on. I kept all this because I'm going to give it away after I review it. But so this is hanging behind glass like that, which told me it wasn't a big knife. So I unfortunately had to wait for the dude to go get the keys and come back. So when I did the unboxing yesterday, and I am in digital advertising, digital marketing, Google search, organic search, stuff like that. But merchandising is important too because it affected me, even though it means nothing. But opening knives, I've opened a Strider wrapped in a baggie that gave me joy. I've opened trying to think of a knife that was just tits up. I mean, I've opened EMPs that were beautiful. I've opened Bergs that were set up beautifully. I've opened a lot of knives. Long story short, this knife was $37.46. That's what it displays. And it tells you premium D2 steel. That's kind of an oxymoron. Full tang blade, hammered ends, canvas micarta, premium hard sheath. And then on the back, it gives you more specifications. So when I'm sitting there looking at the box, I get all the shit I need. It's got plastic over it. So when I get home, it's got a magnetic clasp. You open it, has little arrows pointing to the knife that's right here, the sheath's underneath it. But what I want to show you guys is every bit of this material is sustainable. It's recycled, ready to be recycled again, which means Swiss Tech, this happens to be in Arkansas, which Bentonville, Arkansas, is the home of. What's up, Rob? Glad you're here, buddy. Which is the home of Walmart. My ex-father-in-law passed away as an optometrist at Walmart. They took great care of him, but it's a love-hate relationship between the community and the company, but they will buy out their own businesses. So I think this was a company that was making knives that was probably scooped up by Walmart. What attracted me to it, to even ask if they had any more of these, was they had a big bushcraft one in the glass thing. But let me show you this knife. $37.88. And all I've done is cut cardboard with it. All I've done with it is cut paper. If I kept it, which I'm going to give it away, that's all I'd cut anyway. But this little guy, hold on. So this little guy has got some of the most textured, they call it tactile, Taktil coating, which reminds me of the same type of stuff that's on Essie's. But I want you to look at how thin that blade stock is. Super, super thin. And then on the spine, it says D2, Real, hidden, and like, which is the model. So the maker or the brand is right here, Swiss Tech. And then you've got their logo. Got jimping, micarta handles. I'm going to take them apart, and I think these are G10 liners. They might be glued together. But guys, this knife is so comfortable. I wanted to hate it. I don't know if y'all saw the thumbnail. I've not sharpened it yet. I have a feeling it'll be better. So would I get this to, I was holding up the wrong camera. Would I get this if I wanted to go do an Erica video and baton through steel in my garage? No. Would I want this knife if, like me, the drawback is the eyelets are too thin or too narrow for standard hardware. However, the clip that it comes with is a plastic belt clip that you can mount. It came mounted horizontal or vertical, as you can see. If I turned it like that, I switched it to Scout. I carry it right at my appendix. It's a 6-inch knife. And guys, this is a freaking banger. You can get it at Walmart, at Walmart's website. I have no affiliation with them. I hate to even say that's the only place you can get it. I happened to be walking through where I live store and saw it. They had like 4, and they had one other Swiss Tech knife that I think was a folder. I had no desire in looking at it because I was kind of repulsed by the whole idea. Because again, I have an ex-in-law who worked for them since they were Sam Walton, walking around being a great, great human, and then changes that he whined about, whether they were true or not, I learned about them, right? Yeah, and it was one of those things, Ian, I have to go like once every 2 weeks because my dad loves their Equate. He doesn't like Boost. I've tried to put him on Boost. He likes the Equate Plus chocolate and vanilla shakes. He's 86. So when he runs out, he'll drink a couple of days with his other shit. And when he runs out, I have to make a trip to Walmart. I walk exactly, I know where to go. And then when I'm on my way back, I pass the sporting goods where they've got their glass, which has typically been empty. They had that knife out. I didn't see any Civivis. I saw in Metal Complex's chat tonight that people were asking about Civivis at Walmart. If they're there, good. I mean, it's a place for them to distribute. They're on Amazon. I guarantee you they're on AliExpress. A real Hinderer's not. A real Benchmade's not. A real Spyderco's not. And those are getting harder and harder to find. We might have a guest tonight. I'm hoping Brother Jason Grant. I know Scotch and Things is going to try to come in, but this little chode is different than a J-Cow. It's got 2 little finger grooves. I can get a 4-finger grip on it because of the way it goes back here and terminates. It's got a 1.5-inch deep, deep hollow ground S90V blade. Super thick stock, which bevels at this camera will not do justice because these are all done by hand. Jason doesn't have any computerized machines, right? These are hand filed, ground like Shane grounds them with just a machine with a belt. But when you look at the plunge lines and you look at this horizontal or whatever you call that part of the blade, I need to learn more about knives. Guys, my channel is very much set up from a user guy who I'm willing to bet a lot of you guys fall in the same category as I did and do. I'm not afraid to go hard use a knife. When I go camping, I love hard using my knives only because I'm getting to use them hard, just kind of to be an idiot. What's up, Ed? I love to take my K-bar kukri out and just chop shit up. I don't get to do it enough. Speaking of, I wanted to show you guys, and I haven't done a review on this yet, but I'm going to. This is one of A to Z's knives. They are very reasonably priced. This is a guy, when you go to his Instagram page, he has under 100 followers. This is a knife. This gentleman is a mixed media artist. So when you go to his page, you'll see some knives. You won't see a knife exactly like this. He sells these at the local Knives and More. So if y'all are interested, I can put you in touch with somebody who can send you pictures of other knives that are more commercial, but he works with clay. He reminds me of Jason, who's a tattoo artist for 30 years, one of the best. And he takes that same skill set to any medium. And this guy's truly that. So he's an artist. So I think the steel on this is, I want to say, what is it, AWBL or AWE? I'm not sure. But I want you to look at the pattern in the blade. And that was done, he said, by heat treat, and it's not scaling. It's not Damascus, but he works with a lot of Damascus. I don't even know the material of the handle. I know it's got a beautiful swedge. Of course, it's got a convex grind. But on his Instagram, and I'll drop it in here in a second, we'll go look at it because you'll see knives are not his gig. But when you put this in your hand, it is Bundabar. I've not cut with it because I haven't reviewed it because the other one's really special. And both of these are courteous of A2Z EDC. We're going to go to his Instagram and I'm going to ask you guys to follow him. So this is his custom sharpening, his convex grind with, I'm sure, a belt. It's sharp. It's fine. And he makes these sheaths. It says Datcher. His company is, and you can't, he's hard to find, believe me. I can help you though. DATCHER knives. North Alabama made, because people make beautiful knives everywhere. So this review, I think, comes out tomorrow. And what flipped me out about this, and he doesn't know who made the handles. This is A to Z's too. But look at the handles on this knife. That is a pine resin. Pine cone is what it's called. So you've got pine cone embedded in this almost translucent green material. And then you've got Tree of Life bronze pins. And these are scales for a fucking mule. And this is a Magna Cut mule from the mule team at Spyderco, where they test a lot of different metals, a lot of different heat treats. And these scales are so thick. Normally I'd say these are big scales, but they are so comfortable. Guys, I've eaten so much cardboard with this knife. And I know you could skin, I don't know what you couldn't cut with this. And the cool thing, what I learned about mules when I had a chance to try this out was I went and I Googled them. A, they're not any in stock. B, they're not expensive. So they range, or the ones I saw on Spyderco's site, from $75 to $140 in crew wear. I didn't see Magna Cut. And all you get is the blank, right? So you've got this tang, full tang construction. You've got some holes in the tang, and then you've got the blade. So that's what a mule is. And then I haven't even noticed TRM, my favorite USA made company, makes scales for the freaking mule. Hold on a second. Mule knife scales. And I think they're great knives for makers who are just starting to make scales to practice on. Let's see, where was Halpern titanium. Let me go right here and share this. If y'all don't know, Halpern titanium is Three Rivers Manufacturing. So those look like a TRM. Nothing fancy there. They're just doing their 3D contoured G10 or micarta handle sets. I mean, nothing super fancy, but when we go back here, are y'all seeing that? Okay, I'm sharing. But if we go, let's find somebody cool. Look at those. Look at the contours in those. And I can vouch for RC. I've got 2 sets of his scales. Those seem a little high, but those are fixed blade scales, so I'm not going to hate on it. Amazon, not even going to go there. Let's see what Jant Supply has in armadillo scales. So they'll make custom handles out of armadillo. I'm going to pass on that. I don't want anything that used to be alive in my hand. So here's an Instagram dude. All right, I'm going to, well, he doesn't have many posts. So anyway, there's that. There's this knife that I was not even that excited to take because he didn't know who the maker of this scale was. When it goes live, I've asked, does anyone know who made this? Because I want to be able to shout them out because they're beautiful. I mean, that's pine cone embedded in freaking resin with Tree of Life. It's stunning and it just feels great. Mirsalt, congratulations, buddy. Is that the little, when you say regular, is that the full size or the little guy? Because I had a dilemma today. Almost did something really reckless. And it involved a 3-inch. I'm going to show you what it involved because one of y'all might want to get reckless. But if you do, use my affiliate link. I don't pimp them, but if you're going to spend money on a knife and you want to help the channel, use Rob Nerdy Knives. Use somebody whose content you like, somebody who you like. Let's see. Let me go to, where did I see it? I think I saw it at DLT. Boom, boom, boom. I think I saw it on Restocks. Maybe I saw it on New. All right, let me go back. And then I'm going to share. And then we're going to talk because I'm not in the chat. And none of my guests have shown up. So I'm just sitting here rambling. And y'all are probably just going, this sucks. And somebody's probably going to screenshot this to go with my Instagram post. Did y'all see or hear about that? The Instagram post that is going to get me canceled. All right. That's a 3-inch, guys. That is not a 3.5. They've got flipperless 3.5s for the same price that I was very interested in. But I've got a flipperless Eclipse, and I like the flippers on Hinderers. This is a flipperless, and they've got them at a couple of places, so they're plenty. Well, they're not plenty. They're selling, but you could go get one. I could go get one, but I would regret it when I couldn't pay any bills at the first. But sometimes you've got to make those decisions. But this is a 3-inch Bowie, which is kind of a unique blade with the flipperless construction, which I think is my favorite. This one happens to be one of my favorite colors, which is, I think, the antique bronze, what do they call it? What do they call them? What do they call it? It's antique bronze or battle bronze. That's what it is. It's battle bronze. And it is S45VN. So when I look at Hinderers, just FYI, the ones you'll notice there, most of them are sold out. What sells is the back because everybody gets different scales. So working finish are very popular. I like battle bronze. Unfortunately, I've got some stonewashed blue and some stonewashed bronze, which I don't just hate. So I've got one of these. I've got the blue anodized. And let me just show you the difference in a couple of things. So they've got a blue anodized and they've got a battle blue. So the battle blue is more of a flat, and that's a stonewash. And unfortunately, you guys, maybe you can tell the difference under here. Yeah. See how the battle blue's got a lot more matte? And if we look at this is the battle bronze and the stonewash bronze. Battle bronze, stonewash bronze. And then one's got a smooth tie scale, the other's got a contoured. But the ones that go first are the working finish. I don't own a working finish. Thank God they went fast. I own I think it's called tumbled finish. This might be called working finish. I don't think it is. I think there's a stone washed option. The bottom line is they're all going to be as desirable, I believe. And this is the one I almost bought. So those were 3.5-inch flipperless Bowies. Then they've got these 3-inch, which are the little guys. And this is the working finish. This Spanto Tonto. I definitely do not have working finish. And that looks like a battle bronze. That does not look like working finish. I'm going to have to call bullshit on that. We're going to have to look at another one. It says working finish. I'm going to have to call bullshit on that. I think that's a mismatch. Let's find one. That's the same color as we've just been looking at. The working finish is the dark version of this, which is stone washed. But yeah, and Mersalt, they were Project X's. They weren't in stock that long. I don't think they released that many. They might on Rick's site because I don't go there religiously. The sites I go to religiously, and I always have, I've got them in my favorites. I go to DLT to see what's new and what's dropping. I look at their new and their restocks because the restocks are a lot of new for me. Knife Eclectic, what is up? Did you see my video yesterday? You probably didn't. It was knives that are still great. It was volume 2, and your scales were on my Hogue Deca 1 Warncliffe. And I talked about how it breathed new life into that knife. And guys, since I've not been buying knives, I'm having the most fun rediscovering knives that I chased or bought for a reason that I was really passionate about, because that's what my whole channel is based on. Knives just make me feel a certain way, kind of like I guess jewelry does a girl, and that's not meant to sound sexist. I just don't. I don't buy them to think, man, I'm going to go cut through a bunch of shit with this. Although I know I can, um, depending on what the knife is, but that's not my point. My point is I like it. It's cool. Makes me feel good. Will I carry it? Yes. Will I cut with it? Yes. Will I survive with it? God, I hope I don't have to. But I don't have it over here. But this video right here, Chicka Chicka Slim Shady, it is at only 122 views because I'm not doing something right with my thumbnails, and I'm fine with that because I'm not about all the views and stuff. But I do want to do, if I'm doing something wrong, I do want to learn to do it better. Now, I'm not going to invest in a bunch of shit. I'm not going to do a bunch of shit like that because I'm just showing knives. I'm not that guy. This is a plugin I've got for everybody's video. So if you get down here to number 3, good. I'll support somebody marketing mushrooms on my channel. The sage, and then we're going to come up. I think we've already passed it. Here it is. And I can't get copyright struck for this. These are not coming in my collection, but I've
coming in at number 5 in this forgotten winter
and the
circle.
chili area
This
was number
is
6.
my first Hogue Deca, the Hogue Deca V1. This one.
I got this knife, guys, and I'm not going to go into too many details, but I got that knife at Smoky Mountain Knife Works when the version 2 was getting ready to be released. Black Friday, $119. It was such a good deal. S30V, nothing special, but it was a Hogue. And I liked it so much that I went ahead and I got the black G10, which that one was the drop point as well. I always wanted the Warncliffe, but I got the drop point too. And they came at the same time. I loved them. I carried them. Marty and I talked at a blade show like a year later, and they'd been doing the V2 scales. And I asked him, do y'all have any V1 scales? You know, I know there are a couple more screws and there's some other little minor changes. He goes, no, but we don't have anything to make them with. I was like, dude, I've got plenty of knives to carry. Like at the time I had fucking way too many. Let me just send them to you. Use them for templates. I wouldn't really expecting a kind as gesture as they did. They hooked me up when those knives came back. They had scales. So thank you to Original Goat. They're also on my affiliate link. I have more Original Goats. I've got them in all my 80 20.5s, all the ones that are not my Carta, because I've got 4 80 20.5s. I've got them on. We've got a guest. I've got them on my 8015. I have got them on. They're great scales. Fantastic. Here is Brother Scotch and Things. We're going to bring him in. Anthony Kitchen, what is up, my man? Rody 7420. Guys, I'm sorry I hadn't been in the chat.
What's up, guys?
Hey, buddy. I'm going to let you help me read the chat because I want to make sure I'm not missing people, but I've just been going off on tangents and I'm still only working the one little monitor. Do you use a laptop or you use a phone?
Laptop.
All right. So you can imagine when I go to look and show Instagram pages, I'm not able to see the StreamYard anymore. So I can't see if people are going, get off of this. This
I
sucks.
will. I hopped in earlier. I was just lurking for a second. And they were talking about
I'm
Striders.
surprised you made it back. I mean,
they were talking about Striders, so I got all excited.
How far were y'all camping? How far away?
Just literally just right. It's 5 minutes from our house.
And let's clarify, you were glamping in your fucking RV.
We were glamping. My youngest daughter had a friend out.
But they can set up a tent. I bet they set up a tent outside. I know when they get a little older, like preteens are going to want to set up a tent.
They played in the park and they jump roped and they roasted hot dogs and marshmallows. And then we came home. It's supposed to storm tonight, so.
Does it get a little rocky? I guess if you needed to,
bad, tie it down. If it's loud, like you just can't. You don't get a good night's sleep.
But it beats the hell out of a tent or a hammock with a fucking rain shield, I would say, in a big way. But dudes, we got a giveaway.
What's up, guys?
A giveaway later tonight, which you'd find interesting. And check this out. You know what this is?
Herman.
Yeah, the Ishtar. It's too big for me, but it's my buddy A to Z's. You've had some Hermans, right?
I have a Herman Slim.
What do you think about the clips? Are they not amazing?
I love them. They work great.
Does your Slim have the grooved out clip? Yep. I think they all do.
It goes in and out of pocket. Amazing.
Totally deep carry. To me, I would have never have appreciated. This is not my knife, by the way, but they do so many things right. And I can look at it. What I was telling these guys is if you go to Polish Custom Knives, they're $6,000-$7,000, but they're also $600-$700. Well, $700. So you're paying a Polish guy, and I forget Botsard. What's his first name?
Oh, I can't remember. I've talked to him on emails and stuff.
Very nice guy.
Oh yeah.
Here. And he's a maker. He signed the card of authenticity on this one. I know he has people that work with him, but I think he final
a
load.
while, he was pretty much solo, though.
And he still may be, because the
Does he have-
pictures of him in the shop that I found on Google Images are
Damn it.
it's Bartos.
Do you guys put I can't remember on Hinderer when you're running bearings? You don't
Yes,
need
put the washers in.
you
The
have to put the
washers.
washer. What about on these thick ones?
Do you have the thick washers from Skiff?
Yeah,
those are Skiff thick washers, right?
I don't know.
Were those the washers that came with your triways?
These are not the Triway ones. Dave gave them to me.
Okay, if they're Skiff thick
They
washers,
are thicker because the other ones are those bent, kind of caged.
do you have a mic meter beside you? Because I can measure them right now. Because you do not
Actually,
need.
you know what? They're thick.
Hold them up to your bearings. Do you have your Hinderer bearings closed?
I don't have the original Hinderer bearings. Dave kept them. Do those look thick to you? Those
Yeah.
look like skiffs or something, right?
I think they are.
Those aren't the normal Hinderers.
And if those are the case, no, because the normal Hinderers, you have to put the stainless with the phosphorus or the Delrin or whatever the fuck the plastic ones are to make them thick enough to be as thick as the bearing. The skiffs are made to the exact same tolerance in height or whatever that dimension is of the washer. Now, I don't know how well titanium and phosphorus bronze work together. I don't know which is softer. I'm not a metallurgist. But I know that Skiff does that in his knives, from what I understand.
I'll run it and see. This is the Project X that Dave put studs on for me. And he put the washers in, but it just didn't run great with the washers.
Well, Scott was telling me about the washers, and I asked him to send me some. And I've run them in. I've got them still running in my Civivi Baby Banter, the little one, and this knife right here, which is one of my best action knives that I cannot take the washers out of. This is my McNeese. And this thing was meant to be on washers. And this is the Skiff thick washers, so they're the exact size as the Mac 3 bearings or Mac 2. Now, the Mac 2 bearings, yes, it falls shut, but it doesn't need to. My point is, it drops shut. And there's a lot of pleasure I get from the stability of it. And these are like $7. The washers aren't expensive. Are the studs working on the
is so easy to take apart.
Rody 7420, the way that Satu put the studs in that Project X, I would have a hard time buying a Project X as a flipper only knife, knowing I was going to keep it as a flipper only. There's certain knives, I don't have any out here, that I like that are flipper only because they're minimalistic flippers, they're modern. But a Hinderer, it has to have the studs. And I think the studs are definitely worth it, especially if somebody like Satu is getting you good titanium connector studs that you pick out and sub whatever you call it. What do you call it when you? I can't think of the word. I'm getting Alzheimer's. The word is when you recess, semi-recess the studs. They look factory. But what would you say about that? Does yours have studs on it?
Yeah, he put studs on it, and he gave me his old tie scale, but it was just a little thick.
Rody wants to know if it's worth it on the Project X. The stud,
on what?
The studs on the Project X.
We'll find out in a minute. It just, the action was never very, because he sent it back to me with
5-door.
I tried his, and it was absolutely amazing on studs. So that's why I sent this one to him finally. But it came back and the action wasn't great because it was really dirty and it was running on washers.
What's up, brother?
So we'll see what it's like on bearings.
I'm sure it'll be a totally different animal.
Son of a bitch.
I'll tell you what's looked really cool to me, but I can't justify, I'm not buying knives, but I can't justify it. Because if I had a full-size Arius, I could not have justified getting my little Arius. But the little Kungwu Padre Jr. or whatever they call that thing, the compadre, I bet that's a fucking winner. And I guarantee you that will be a lot of people's knife of the year.
God, mother of... As
Focus?
I'm talking about how easy this knife is, I'm just dropping shit everywhere.
Dean, what's up, brother? Yeah, the
Dean's in here.
washer,
I gotta send him something
yeah,
tomorrow.
Dean Griffin's in here. I like to take my washers, like my TRM washers, especially my Spyderco's, and just take them on my green side of my strop. I've got a little older strop and just kind of slightly get them where they're shiny. And I'm probably fucking them up, but it seems like it's, you know, it's worth doing. Yeah, you can do it, Scott. You don't have to read the chat. You work away.
Just one
buddy.
second. I literally took this knife apart yesterday, sitting in a recliner, and like now it's just giving me just. I'm about ready to smash it.
This is a little glow in the dark. What kind of critter is that? Oh, moth.
So
This
I
is a
know.
gift from brother Paul Mills. And
What's
this
new?
is,
I missed a bunch. You know, when I'm gone on the road for 2 weeks, I just miss everything.
dude, I get very little in. I can show you what I'm carrying, what I'm so impressed with, which they were nice enough to send for me to check out. And it really surprised me. Tactile turn or tactile knife. Have you seen this?
I've never seen one in person, but I've seen them.
It is a very snappy thumb stud super lock, which is the Snex lock in Magna Cut. It's a bigger knife. So if we
Isn't that
hold
a
it,
sharp lock?
yeah, they licensed it. They
Oh,
worked
did
together
they?
because, you know, Snex has not got a patent on it. He encourages people to use it, but they talked about it, and they call it the Super Lock by Snex. So they're giving him credit. But look at the size of it. It's not a little knife. That's the Mac 2, bigger than it. Look at the thickness. So it's a beast of a knife. It's every bit as big and beefy as the Mac 2. Aluminum, Magna Cut at 64.65 allegedly. Traditional pocket knives has it. You can get it in stone-washed, Magna Cut, or satin. I prefer the satin. This one's stone-washed and aluminum for $249. Dude, I haven't taken it out of my pocket, and I've already done the review on it. But this is a
Yeah,
great
you just
knife.
kind of know when you get a knife that.
It's a user. That's what it is. It's not, you know, it's not gonna replace your Strider as something that's gonna make you go ooh. But if you like the Snex, I'm getting ready to do a comparison video. I'm not gonna do it with the scorecard because I don't think that's fair. I'm just gonna talk about each of them.
Can you pry a crate lid off? People went insane on my video a couple days ago.
Now this, and you can't. You should have heard Metal Complex tonight talking about. He had one, and he had a TikTok video do 20 million views. He said this last month they sent him a $500 check. He didn't even know they were monetized. But if you look at these two knives, they're very similar, dude. You can say what you want. This is the Snex. This is the Snex, and I don't think one's copying the other because this is a lot beefier. If you look at the blade stock, I mean, there's no comparison. But they have similar blades, so I was going to do kind of a shootout. They're both super locks. But I really like this because it's made in America. It seems to be made very well. I don't know if it's on bearings or bushings because I haven't taken it apart yet. But for under $300, I mean, like $50 under $300.
This knife should definitely have studs.
What is that?
The Project X.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And those are the studs Dave put on for me. And then I got it on. Oh, my pocket clip's loose. Hinder dropped some black tie scales.
What do you think about the flipper deletes? And I'll tell you before you answer. I'll tell you
the what?
The flipper deletes on Hinders. I bought the Eclipse flipper delete. And I'm glad I did because it's rare. The one I got. But I don't really like them. I like the flipper. I like having it there on my other.
Yeah, it's kind of one of those knives. Like I know people kind of go back and forth about talking about flippers, or it's weird. It's like
I like having the choice of either reverse finger.
When you get into like knives, like for me, it was like the first time I saw like an automatic knife or an assisted knife, I was like, oh, I got to have one. And then by the time I was able to get one, and you do more research, you know, they're not cool anymore. You know, the cool kids moved on to other stuff.
You did, Lord,
about action or whatever.
That is another one of the knives that my buddy A to Z EDC, and I'm not going to get into any gossip, but he bought it from Alice Paracord, and the deal went through, and I'm just pleased for him. And it's a great knife. I had to try to sharpen it. It may go to Kyle Coonley right now. He says it's sharp enough.
What
But that's
happened? I heard you guys. So was it last Friday or? The days just all run together. I listened to you either
You just
last
gotta watch
Friday.
out for people. I'm not going to get into details because I don't want to be that guy, but just there are people that are strangers that present themselves. You know, if your gut tells you something's wonky, there are enough people in the community that you can get a concerted opinion. Not it's going to be right or wrong, but we're all good people, I think, by the most. I think 95, 98% of the people are really great people, would give their shirt off their back when they didn't need to or they couldn't afford to. But I think they help people out because somebody
Right.
comes to them at need. And then they get, they're waiting for, they think that it's going to be, you just have to be careful with who you deal with.
Yeah.
But anyway, he got the knife. It's an
I've got
FSD.
an all tie for sale. Eclipse.
What one?
Well, he said the Eclipse was the only hinder he sold and he missed, and I've got an all tie.
It's my favorite right now, even though my XM18 is a close second. But talking about the what were we talking about right before the Eclipse?
I don't know. I asked you about Alice paracord or something.
Yeah, the FSD. Thank you.
FSD.
Brother Paul Mills has a mini FSD, and I don't want him to send it to me because I'm scared of shipping shit like that. But I know.
Oh, shit, Kyle's in here. Kyle, you've only had like a month.
Kyle still might be sharper than that full size FSD, but I can tell
layaway for
the size of the full size FSD, how nice it is, that the mini would be perfect for me. That would be the one I would want. And I
sold 7 knives yesterday and 1 today. 8 knives I got rid of in 2 days.
Thank you, brother. God, how do you do that? You just have Facebook groups, people know you and they know
Facebook. Yeah. One dude bought 6 knives.
You've got a secret Patreon, don't you? People pay $1 and they come and buy from you exclusively.
One dude I've sold to in the past bought 2, and then he was like, "Well, what's that in the picture?" And I told him, he's like, "What were you doing that?" And by the end of the night, he had bought 6 of the.
Hey, Scotch, Ed's got a question. Not to interrupt you, but I just know you can probably answer it.
Where's it at?
Ed, I've got it highlighted. Can you not see it? What's the difference between an XM18 and a Project X other than aesthetics, like blade thickness, i.e.?
Oh, I don't know. I don't have a project. The size.
I think it's the same, right? I would think the X and the XM18. Let me go to their side.
Yeah, I don't have my XM18. Oh, that's right, because I sold it and I mailed it out today. I wanted to have an XM18 again.
I cut you off about all the sales you made.
Huh?
You were talking about the sales you made, and I cut you off.
Oh, no. I just, the dude ended up by the end of the night and bought 6 of the 10 knives I had listed.
Are these people that you trade with from time to time?
I've sold to this guy before in the past, yeah. So,
and that makes a difference because right now, from what I hear, is it's a hard time to sell knives. But
it can be, yeah, it is. And then there's guys, and then I sold a knife, an XM18, to a dude last night who we've got multiple friends, knife friends, in common with each other on Facebook.
I'm getting your information.
And I get it because you got to be careful, but you can Facebook stalk people and look at their history. But
their scams are getting so good, man.
I've been around for a while, but he's asking for timestamps. Then I give it to him, and he wants to do PayPal goods and services, and I'm just like, no.
You mean friends and family? He wants to do friends.
No, he wants to do goods and services, and I won't accept it. Huh?
To buy?
Yeah,
but I won't accept that. Right? How much does that knock off though? For like a $500 knife or $600?
I don't know what their percentage is anymore, but it's like, but I'll get hit with taxes for it.
Right, somebody with the memory,
services, and then
jot these
also it's goods and services protects the buyer, but it doesn't protect the seller. So he could get the knife. He could get the knife and be like, he never sent me the knife. So
and then say you didn't get it back. So I'm writing down specs. The Project X is 3.66 on the blade, 5-inch handle, 8.66 overall, 0.165 blade, and 0.165 lock side. So let's go to XM18, and we will learn that it is a Whomping. This is the non-flipper, which should be the same specs, right? Sure.
Where's Pocket Metal tonight?
Hopefully he's going to jump in. You know, Friday nights is when they go re-up all their animal food. And I got to go call Tippy in a second. 3.5 inches. So it's smaller, the XM18, by not much. And for some fucking reason, it won't screen anymore. So I can only assume very little.
The Project X is a little longer.
Here we go. Yeah, it is 825 versus 866. 825 for the XM18, but they're both the same thickness on the handles and on the blade, 0.165. So that's the difference. About, what is that? 0.41, less than a half an inch longer. All right, Scotch, entertain the troops while I go check for the cat real quick.
All right, your cat or someone else's cat?
My cat.
Hello, guys. What else is new? I know, like I said, I got home from camping and snow, or when people were talking about striders and you get a bag, and I don't know. Good luck, CRK. Yeah, I've been very. Went back and checked on that slip after your video, Scotch and things. Checked out that slip after your video. I've been really lucky on Facebook. Some people haven't, but again, it's just use your head. If the deal's too good to be true, even though I sell them cheap so they move, you know, it's not too good to be true prices.
Yeah, Palmer. And that's one of the people that my buddy had a successful deal with, but I don't know where that knife came from. I don't know the history of, I want to say, number 97. I think it's FS.
Here's my question: how do you get $10,000 worth of shit? Who's sending?
I know somebody else who right now.
Does she have a YouTube channel?
Yeah, I'm sure she does, but I'm sure she does a lot of it through. I see her very active on Instagram on different buy sell pages and stuff.
But how is she getting $10,000 from people worth of knives? That's my question.
I don't know how much of it's knives. I know before and I'll keep it real simple, but I helped mediate with Lefty a situation that was not a misunderstanding. I'm convinced it was an attempted fucking of a good person in the community who came on my live, kind of panicked, and was waiting for a $1,500 reimbursement for a loan because he's a really nice guy. He's an older gentleman. He had the money, and she has had a lot of surgery. She has real issues like we all do. And he felt for her, right? And I know other situations with a couple of people where that's going on. And the trick is to be kind, but be careful. And none of these people that, and I've personally dealt with one of the biggest pieces of shit ever, but you would never know that until you've been in that situation. So I don't blame people for it. And when it goes to scams and being smart, my buddy A to Z was looking for, what are they called? The ones that had the funky blade, and that it describes every knife. Came out not too long ago. They were real rare. There was a drop, then they were gone. And he found one on eBay, and he trades a lot successfully on eBay. He's been doing it he's got a huge rating. But anyway, it was like $385, and table was like $350. And we both thought it was a little cheap because he hadn't seen them much under $400 because they were so rare. What's that knife called? I can't think of it. But anyway, y'all would know what I'm talking about. So the guy took pictures, and it must have been Photoshop, but showing the date, showing his name, everything that Jeff asked him to do, that he thought he was covering himself for at least that the guy possessed the knife. But he got screwed out of that $385. I got screwed out of $99 off of a website that Google organically showed me like 4 down, right below the fold, but towards the top of the fold. And I reported it, and it was up for another 2 weeks.
I don't know who she is. Like, I've seen her. She was in that group Kyle put together for Bluminati.
Yeah, she makes a lot of paracord stuff and has been really kind to the community. But I don't know how much of that's positioning, right?
I had to leave the group because it was just so fucking annoying.
Well, keep in mind that there are a lot of people here for a lot of different reasons. And that doesn't mean they're bad people. They just have different agendas. They're people here because they love knives and they love hanging out with people that love knives. I like to say that I fall in that category.
Leather. There was someone's name in here was Leatherworks.
Yeah, Leatherworks, Grissom Leatherworks. Where no Leatherworks.
Well, 1913. Yeah, 1931 Leatherworks. Do you make leather stuff?
I bet he does.
Oh,
Are you looking to buy?
well, I mean, I've got that fixed blade coming from Dave, and I've got one coming from Shane, and I need
Ex or her current Leatherworks, because her current boyfriend was involved in the situation I mediated, and he was a real prick. But I'm convinced that he did not know the story, that she'd kind of lied to him. So I wouldn't be surprised if he was her ex. There's a lot of stuff. My point is, guys, that there are people here they want to be friends, but their goal is to sell stuff, whether it's stuff that they make. And it's not because he's my friend, but because I know his character. I don't think Lefty EDC falls into this, even though a lot of people could tell me I'm describing someone who does what he does. I don't put him in the same category. There are people that have come in just to promote what they do and to try to get a foothold and then do other stuff. I've seen it with people, and I'm not going to call names.
Palmer's right. People know, they come in and did she mean to take advantage of people?
Probably not starting out. Probably no, because she has serious health problems.
Yeah, did she?
Dude, I'm so glad. How did it come back, Jim? Did we ever find out how it was missent? And did you get in touch with maybe your post office and they were able to rewrite it to you? Because it never came back to me. That's what I was trying to say. I never had to put it in another envelope. But you can thank Chris 19. Well, I always forget the end of his name. He might not even be in here anymore. Chris 229, Chris something. You guys, I see a lot of names. I went to a lot of dead shows. I've got very bad memory. But the point is, they're people, and they're creators that do it for different reasons. And I'll watch all of them. I'm good friends with 90% of them. And I don't disagree with what they do or how they do it, nor is it my place to, but it's not necessarily the way I would do things. That doesn't make me right and them wrong. It just means that I don't do things the same way. But as a viewer, I know I went through a cycle. Like I said, I watched Blade HQ. I watched and bought more knives because of, and it's not their fault, but because of Ben and what was my bearded buddy's name? Ben and Zach. I would watch them all the time. And then I found from that, I would watch, here you go, Scotch. Can you click on that and follow him?
Leatherworks. I was just going to Instagram to see if I follow him or not. I just thought, I mean, what's Shane doing? Yeah, Shane
hey, text him if he's live in his shop and see if he wants to join. I told him he could come on if he wanted to, if he's going to go to the shop tonight and he wanted to do some live sharpening. Jason's going to join us at some point and show us off a couple of things. Did I show you guys? I'll show you again because I don't think I showed it.
What was where's it at? Instagram 1931.
I've got it on 1931 Leatherworks, all one word.
And it used to be Tactical Carry. When did he change his name?
I don't know. But see that little chode? It's got 2-finger cut out, so I can hold this as a perfect 4-finger knife. Thick.
I might need a slip joint. I bought 2. I ordered one from Beard and Owl, but if I don't like it, I'm probably gonna need a slip.
I would talk to him. There's another guy that I know that I've seen his work, Grissom Leatherworks or Tony Boombots, and then Duty does a fantastic job. Those are all people I think could probably get to you pretty quickly. And then who I've become
in a big hurry. Like, I keep buying slip joints thinking I'm gonna be a slip joint guy, but we'll see.
You'll be surprised. I carry one every day, and I'm carrying a different one this week because I try to switch them out. And this is one you'll probably be surprised I even bought. But when I got into slip joints, I didn't have a rhyme or reason. Have you ever seen one of these MKM? I want to say it's the God, I forget what it's called. But it's this guy right here. Modern slip joint, aluminum and M390. And it is so thin. And it is so slicey. And it comes with this little slip, right? So you don't have to buy a slip. It's got a magnetic
edges in here.
Is he? Hey, Edgy, were you just live? Because I was going to say if you want to join, I'll send you a link, dude. You can grind. I don't know if Jason's
I
going
know,
to.
Marisol, and it's sat in its slip ever since.
Yes, I absolutely do, El Cap Addict, and we were talking about that earlier. I didn't want to go into too much detail there, but Lefty and I were able to mediate that out, and there was definitely some weirdness there in hindsight, but it did get resolved. Not 100% because there were going to be some Hanks exchange that were taken out of the balance, which I thought was kind of, after what we all went through. But okay, buddy, you want to come on and chat? You got anything to share, show? Any knives? I don't know if y'all have seen what Lefty's been doing. Have you gotten yours yet? I know he's working on one for you, Scotch.
No, not yet. It's just coming back from heat treat, I think.
Yeah, dude. I mean,
I talked to him today for a little bit.
Well, I talked to him briefly. I mean, I've told him he needs to raise his prices because he's doing everything so right. I mean,
Yeah,
like,
he said send them a link on IG.
okay, but yeah, he's doing everything like above and beyond. I trust Brian's machine. I trust
No
Brian's.
one's naming names. I don't know. I missed something.
No, that was when Allie first had an issue with when I was talking about the 1500 and I was real vague about it.
Oh yeah,
That was what that was.
gotcha.
Let's do this. Let me copy this. All right, let me go to Instagram and let me go to Edgy. All right, I'm sending it to you right now, Shane. Here you go. Uh-oh, where's the message?
How late you gonna be on tonight, Till?
At least 11:30, dude. Maybe later. I just hate to. I don't want to run into said factions time. I try to be respectful of that, and plus, I know a lot of the people here love watching them, and that's why. The only reason, what's up, Maddie? That's the only reason I scheduled the Tuesday night thing because I've done it a few times, and while I'm not working a real job, and I'm awake at that time, why not be live? I don't ever attract a lot of people, nor am I really trying to, but it's just a good place to hang out for a little while. But this is what we're going to give away tonight, which is a huge knife, which is an absolute beater. I put an edge on it after I chomped it in wood. I wish I filmed it, but I don't do edits. So all I did was talk about in the review what I did to it. Has no up and down, no side to side, 0 button stick. It is a button lock, but I beat the hell out of it spine whacking in the video, and it's totally solid. And then it's got this back handle. Somebody like Maddie would love this because you've got this choil and you can hold it almost like a hatchet. It's a Tonto. I don't know if you can tell that, but it chops like a son of a bitch. And it also, for a big knife, which is this is as big as my let's see how big it is compared to the stitch. It's that much bigger than the stitch. So let's see how big it is compared to the
Got a brand new stitch for sale.
aluminum or G10.
Aluminum.
Hey guys, that's a great knife. I put skiffs in mine, so it's a little bit smaller, right about the same size as the Spartan Horsey folder. So it's a great knife. I think it retails for about $52. But I didn't want to say I tested it, but I beat on it really hard. I wanted to see if by using it in that 100-year-old stump wedge I've got and really chopping on it would make it develop lock rock or make it develop lock fail. Because they market it on their page as a hard use knife. And I know Edgy's cussing me right now, but it performed pretty well for what I put it through, which was very little.
Carco in here. What's up, Chris?
I haven't seen Brother Carco. Yeah, he must be. Howdy, Carco. Carco is my hero. He sold me my Grail, and it had a special Pro X 1840 bill scale job. I've got the original scales too, but check those carbon fiber scales out. You can't see them under that light because I've got 2 different color lights coming on there. You've had these before, haven't you?
Yeah, they're nice.
I mean, they're their own thing, right? They're kind of But I cut with this. I carry with this. I've messed the edge up a little bit because I got some slurry on there when I sharpened it.
What I don't understand is why doesn't he make did he make his first knife was in the US? He does grinds. He does work on striders for people.
Is
I
he an
don't know.
American guy?
Yeah, John Sorensen.
Yeah, I
Isn't
thought
his name John Sorensen?
John Sorensen's the something I've seen guy, right? Or no, the
No,
Dirty Rotten guy.
he's rotten. He's
And where does Custom Knife Factory from Russia come in?
they're just CKF. They're just a fucking.
But they have it made in China, right?
They
So
haven't been made in China, and that CKF, the dude that owns or started CKF, if I remember right, got into the knife game by making clones or having clones made of Chris Reeve and
really. So that to me, that's kind of wild. That
the dude that
Minnesota
started CKF, I think, started his career. Yeah, he was started by a clone scumbag, 5-door.
What's
Yeah,
up,
that's
Ted
what I thought.
Stevie?
Yeah,
Stevie, I was going to talk about that too. If any of y'all saw my Operation
Stevie
Paperclip,
said something. I don't think I can scroll up. Stevie said something, and then CKF.
well, I made an Operation Paperclip unknowingly. You know, I come from German descent. Right, my granddad was a
Or
rocket
gypsy trinkets.
and I did a Devo a knit post yesterday where I thought it'd be cool. I was kind of buzzed. I thought it'd be cool to turn all my nips like that and make them in a circle and take a picture. So I did, and I put it on Instagram. And somebody reached out to me before Stevie did, or actually I saw it from Stevie. Then I went and looked at my messages, and one of my buddies who I talked to on Instagram said, "You might want to take that picture down." Dude, it was a fucking swastika. I mean, the way I had it set up, 4 nips. If you picture them.
Oh, I saw that, and I guess I didn't look.
I didn't notice it either. But then Stevie was like, "This is a great ad for nips."
Here's
I
what
almost came back and said, "Dude, I bought every one of these except this guy." And I was like, "Oh my god, it's a fucking swastika looking thing." And I talk about my German heritage, but it was not intentional. It was
we're
totally
bouncing all over the place. I know someone just said that she used to be in all the lives. I was listening to. How sad is it? I listen to live streams as I fall asleep on the road. I think it was Dirk Wierning's live, or he did a live a week or anyway.
She's the mom there, right?
He called her out. So then because I remember hearing that name and then all this drama. So she's still in his group. So
dude, there's so much drama. I mean, like I say, 98%, maybe 99% of the people are solid. And you don't, the bad thing
is CKF is at I think
maybe he was the money man.
He's in Russia, but his stuff's made in China. So yeah,
why would Sorensen need him? Wasn't that design Sorensen's, or was it a collaboration?
No, I think that I thought that first Evo was a custom that he did himself.
So maybe
but I might be wrong, or he's done some custom, but I know he does some badass grinds and but then I also it always just
hold on, Edgy. Let me send it to you again because I just pulled it from right here. Invite, copy. I'm gonna copy it again. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna go right back to Instagram. I'm gonna try one more time, and then I'm gonna text it to you if I need to. What did it say when you clicked on it? Because this is coming right out of. All right, try the one I just sent you, buddy. It has the same. It has the same name though.
You better bring in said Stevie for tech support.
I'll text it too. All right, guys, say goodbye to my knives for a while. I wonder who's Tippy dating tonight. I'm gonna have to go check her in a second. Let's do this. Let's go StreamYard.
My Ripley started this week, Stevie. Pretty excited.
Your what?
My Ripley from Donnie.
Oh, is a knife that you haven't built? Is that a knife you're having built?
Yeah, from Donnie Bless.
Is that the one? Oh, from Blessed Knives. He's the one that's on with Shane, right?
Yeah.
And he's not the Rhino fucking guy. What's that knife maker?
That's
Stevie
Edgy Blade Works.
Edgy Blade Works. I follow them on Instagram, but what's weird, and you guys know this, and I know
And
this
now
is
people,
a
since
marketer.
Shane picked out his maker's mark, people are going to be like, who's that dude with a stripper on his blade?
I don't know if you've seen his latest knives. I mean, to me, it's amazing to watch. Guess who's here? He got in. Welcome, Edgy American. Are you down at the
What's
shop?
up, guys? Sorry it's dark out here.
Are
Did
you
you
at the
have to
shop?
string up a can and a string to?
Yeah, I'm at the shop. I was just taking a break.
Dude, that's dedication. We were talking about that today, and I think a lot of people realize. I don't think they realize the psychology when you've got stuff that you want to finish for people and you've given yourself a timeline, but you're dealing with reality, like supplies in and out, things you have to send out and lose control of for a while.
Well, not just that, but I have to deal with, my bad physical or bad mental health days too.
Right.
Some days I don't get them at all, but I'm really happy. I got Paul Mills finished up. I got my very first Kydex sheath done.
Dude, it looks good. I mean,
It could be better. It doesn't have that pop off with your thumb action, but I mean, it's not rattly. The knife doesn't fall out. It's got good retention, but
that's all that matters.
it's done.
Can you open it up?
I think to get that pop action, you got to have a good, sharp corner for that Kydex to just barely wrap around.
I'll put Jason in touch with you. He's tried a lot of different ways. Do you do?
And this knife doesn't really have that.
Jason makes his Kydex go up to the jimping on one side, and that's where you off from. And before he would have it lock on his bevel, but again, it was hard. A lot of people just take it, and I don't know how malleable it gets, but it's almost like they take their thumb or a tool and just let it swell it out just enough to where you can push it. And then you've got people, I don't know if they're plastic, but like when you look at what
my only issue with that is when I could have made it catch on the jimping, but that means that when it's bypassing that jimping, it's pushing the edge into the Kydex on the other side, or at least the way I did this one. So anyway, it was my first one. I just needed to get one that works done, and I did. I'll tell you guys, I'd really rather not make your sheath.
Well, and again, you want local makers like Joe, like Oak City Leather, Grissom Leather Works, like Leather Night. I mean, local people to make them. But Tim, I don't know if you've thought about this. Tim Kell just jimps when he seals his Kydex. He just takes a hot something and makes like 4 or 5 jimps. It doesn't swell out, and then somebody like Dustin Driver does that little, what I think looks like a finger swell, where it's almost like when it's wet, you get it locked in wherever you're going to lock it. And this is just for push off sake.
Yeah.
But you really
this isn't really a push off. It's more, if I'm going to concentrate more on that when I do the pocket, the pocket fixies. So this is more just a, grab the handle and pop it out. But
you're not worried about it. Colin McGuire, one of my favorite U.S. makers, this guy. The sheath he made, I put it in a leather sheath, but it has nowhere to push off. And it doesn't even retain as well as yours does. But I put it in an Oak City leather slip that I bought for one of my apprentices, and they sent me the wrong size, and it fits that perfect.
Well, good. Good deal. Yeah, especially for a rustic looking, wood handled fixie. I just think it fits more in a leather sheath, but
they carry better.
You should just send them in like bloody t-shirts or.
Well,
I've got an idea. I'm not going to tell anybody what it is, but when you get
lingerie,
this batch that's coming up, Kyle will know about it because he'll see them first when he's sharpening them. But when you order one without a sheath, I think you'll be tickled with my idea.
Hey, Shane, have you ever heard of a guy named Gregory Datcher? Datcher Designs. He's a Huntsvillian.
I haven't.
And his YouTube page says multimedia artist. So if you look at his YouTube page, which I'm going to put up here in a second, you don't see a lot of knives. Well, that local store that we've got here, you've been to, Knives and More, carries his knives. So this is one of his earlier knives, and it's got Datcher design on the sheath. So he makes the sheath too. He does pottery, dude. He's a African American. That's just, I think, AEBL, but a beautiful knife. And it was, I forget how much it was, maybe 220 bucks, something like that. But I'm going to show you his Instagram page because to me, I asked Jeff, it's Jeff's knife. I'm going to show you another one before you slip out of here. But when you look at his stuff, this is recent. So he makes the sheath and the knives. Not necessarily my jam, right?
Right.
But when you watch him, he forges, makes the sheaths. Look at this. Again,
Your shop, I am on a rusty swing. I'm sorry.
But then most
Isn't
of
everything in the South rusty?
and he makes stuff like this out of clay.
Oh yeah.
And he may, I mean, so it's not just knives. He said he calls himself a mixed media artist. And when Jeff and I sat down with him at Jeff's kitchen table, he brought a bunch of knives over and told us why he got into it. When he was a kid, I don't know if it was his grandfather, somebody made knives, and that's what got him into making art, you know, because he saw it as art.
Right.
But he's a Huntsvillian dude, and I was glad to review it. And the other thing Jeff had, and I want somebody to tell me who made these scales, and I know somebody will know. This is a mule. It's a Magna Cut mule.
Yeah.
And it's got these epoxy pine cone scales. So you've got
you can buy them off Amazon.
these you can. So these aren't made by somebody. I wanted to give somebody props for them because they're so freaking comfortable. But you can get these types of
I see them every day.
really with the Tree of Life and the Well, I noticed TRM sells.
Well, that's not taking anything away from them. They're beautiful, but they really just.
I didn't know.
The only hard part is you have to bake the pine cone to get it super dry, and then you just bandsaw it in half and submerge it in epoxy. That's all. That's all it is.
Who would have ever thought of that? That's to me, that's so cool. I think you should do that with a Stingray, like Stingray parts. I mean, you could do some cool shit in epoxy. But the mule, when I started researching it before my review, I Googled mule scale and Halliburton titanium came up. I clicked on them. They had on Halliburton titanium site scales in either G10 micarta or that Mexican blanket micarta for like $75. And then there were 100 other people selling scales. I mean, hundreds of people selling scales that were all.
I'll be honest, John, the cost of scales has really been chapping my ass. But I've got a gallon of clear epoxy. I've got 30 different colors of mica. I've got a scale mold. So I'm fixing to start making my own.
Do you have a respirator? I was looking, Kyle and I were looking on Amazon, but your head's too goddamn big. You need to wear something. I've
done a bunch of epoxy work. It's not, if you're not using like that Bondo brand fiberglass epoxy, if you're using actual like tabletop epoxy, it doesn't smell at all.
You still don't need the guts. I mean, it's easy if you just had a real light respirator that would keep those big particles out of your sinuses. Because I know you blow black boogers out when you get home, and that's just not good shit to breathe in.
Not really. I've got a big industrial fan right beside me, and I make sure I keep the grinder between me and the fan, and it sucks all that out. And I'm not saying that I don't still need to be wearing one, but that's my excuse for now.
Dude, they're cumbersome. I worked in a paint room. I didn't work there, but I have to wear one.
You ever tried to dip with a respirator on?
God, no. I can't imagine. I can't even. I fog them up instantly, even the good ones.
Yeah.
Joe Isabella says it's easy, Shane. He poured some the other night.
Yeah. I've done epoxy pours before. I just I got a really good deal. I'm real excited about this, man. It should be here in the next few days. found a place. I can't remember if I bought 2 or 3 sheets of like orange creamsicle vintage paper micarta. I'm real excited about that stuff. I've got some white liners and white pens to go with it.
Did it look like an orange?
The only reason I got that was it was on closeout. Man, you start spending $20, $35, $45 per set of scales. It's hard to make a knife people can afford.
Dude, it's hard to make a value knife. You can make knives people can afford. You just got to realize that the material. I noticed that when I went to LT Wright, and I wish I had my the one that it was this guy here, my Bark River Micro Canadian. This in 3V on River's Edge Cutlery ran from $226 to $585. The 3V
That's crazy.
was the same. Well, the 585 had like a mammoth bone. So when you look at this one's more expensive because it has a G10 green liner where you could buy this knife for $134 without a liner, without the G10 liner. It was still micarta. The point is, your handles, people are used to paying for handles. If you go look at any knife store that has and focuses on fixed blade and go from highest to lowest, it's going to be an exotic handle material that's typically driving the price. So if you're dealing with paper vintage micarta,
just wait till you see Scotch and Things his handles. That's the prettiest material I've got my hands on yet. So I'm excited about that.
Terrence, what's up?
You might have saw them, John. I bought them at Blade Show.
But they look so different when they're flat. They to somebody like me, I can't visualize the final product. To me, that's where the magic happens. What you do, what Jason does, the fact that to me, sharpening a knife on a TS Prof, I still fuck up tips. Look at Pocket Metal's growler I gave him. That thing's got a go funny tip.
Yeah, it's not hard. That's for sure.
Well, at the time, I was horizontal. I hadn't been watching Jared, and I need to get caught.
Try dragging that tip across a 120 grit belt at 5,000 RPMs without grinding it off.
But do you still have that fear? I mean, yeah, you got the fear, but do you have them grind off before?
Yeah, I mean, and then you've got to make the knife, a 1/16 of an inch shorter. Because you got to reform the tip from the spine. But I've gotten way better at it. I haven't ground one off in a while.
I didn't understand when you were talking about learning how to take your 9-flat blades and flatten them and reprofile them. That was so far over my head. I could tell that there was a very logical.
I'll do a video on it.
Dude, that's the kind of stuff that is, to most people, I think, in the knife community is fascinating because.
Well, actually, John, that live stream I did a little bit of it. My bevel wasn't not flat.
You were talking about it. That's where you were talking about it. I couldn't.
It wasn't at the angle that I wanted it at, so I just draw lines on it with a Sharpie, and that way, when I change my angle, every time I hit that belt, I can watch that Sharpie disappear. And when I get it adjusted to where it's disappearing towards the spine and towards the edge at the same time, I know I'm in the money then, and you end up with a perfectly flat grind.
And what you've got to realize is, because you've been doing this and have learned to do this and probably have seen ways to make it easier, it's not something that most people can replicate. They could if they put the time in, but to put the time in, buy the materials, and fail forward like you've been having, like every knife maker has to do. I would think you have to fail forward unless you've got an apprentice that's there with you.
And those failures cost you hundreds of dollars. Because you're eating up hardened steel, you're eating up belts. Yeah, I don't even want to add it up.
Well, and again, the point is, value what you do, because the people that are your patrons value what you do. Because to me, who has been in the knife game for a while, who used to go to A.G. Russell when I was a kid, and I had so many leather wrapped fixed blades that I loved. I think they were Case. I carried one dove hunting since I was 8. But it's magic. when you see somebody actually sanding a handle that's square to get it fitted, right? To get it to be a shape. That's not something people think about. I mean,
Right. I'll be honest with you, John. That's my Achilles heel right now. The one thing I have to get better at and learn more about is the handle shaping.
and the
I'm
hardest,
not
the bad part
I'm
about
not
that,
great at it just yet.
but you will be, because you can't really sub that out. That's a hard thing, I would think, to find a strategic partner who only did that for you, because you got to have the knife to do it, you know, because
Right. Hang on, I got to turn this radio down.
you rocking to rock or country.
No, there's no music playing.
32144 FT.
Oh, you're listening to liberal radio again, aren't you?
Yeah. I'm back in the shop. I didn't want to get you a sound spot, but it was on a commercial.
I'm gonna hose myself here, but has anybody heard the Post Malone country album? I'm a fucking Post Malone fan. You can hate me for it. That kid's talented.
I'm not a huge fan of his music, but I'm a fan of what he's doing and who he is and
have you
all
ever
that
gone
stuff.
back and seen him do "Don't Think Twice It's All Right" before he ever had a tattoo in his high school, where he plays Bob Dylan song just with an acoustic guitar, no tattoos?
Yeah.
And I mean, the dude's played. When I saw him do the Nirvana tribute during COVID, I was like, wow, I thought he was a rapper, you know, and not a very good one. And then I started kind of getting into, and I hate country music. I hate his country music. But the fact that he's able to deliver it, what I think is as good as anybody out there, Taylor Swift, I think, is one of the biggest frauds. Y'all hate me if you're Swifties. Don't come after me, though. I don't think all that. I just don't.
He's not that talented.
No. And I think she's got some great, I think she set her deal when she got a record deal, which was a big deal. And I think she was smart, or she had people around her who were smart enough to parlay her.
John, if you want to make money at anything in this life, you get teenage girls to want it. If you can make teenage girls crave after something, you can print money.
Daddies will find ways to buy it. And teenage girls will find ways to get the cash. You're exactly right. Let me get that. Nirvana is overrated to me, but I think they, without doubt, changed the sound of a generation. So they got that. To me, Nirvana, I think Dave Grohl's the biggest success story of Nirvana. But going back to it, to see Post Malone, who at the time was a rapper, have Travis Barker and some other weird dude in a dress, because that's what Nirvana used to wear. That's why they wore dresses. The three of them playing either a whole Nirvana album or a whole fucking set in his basement was impressive.
Yeah.
And it's on YouTube if you want to watch it. But now he's doing country. So the guy's a crossover artist. And the thing that's always impressed me about him, I've seen him on a podcast. It's the most popular podcast in the world that most people hate, but I'll tend to find it interesting. I've seen him on Howard Stern. I've seen him on other talk shows. He says, yes, sir. No, sir. He is 100% humble. I've seen videos with fans where he spends 45 minutes signing shit when he comes out of his hotel. Kyle Coonley, you are going into timeout, my friend. Where's my
What Kyle do?
He said Courtney Love was the greatest thing to come out of Nirvana. Where is that goddamn? where can I fucking time him? I mean, that's Alice in Chains is that they're my goats. Well, I'll tell you, did you ever hear Mother Love Bone? Mother Love Bone was the band that preceded Pearl Jam. It was everybody in Pearl Jam, one other guitarist, and this guy named Andrew Fairweather Lowe, who died of a heroin overdose right after they released their first album on Apple. Not Apple the player, but Apple the label. Mother Love Bone started the Seattle sound, but Alice in Chains, even though they were probably the least famous from that generation because of Lane's tragic situation, they were to me the best. And I think Lane Staley's vocals, Andrew Wood, thank you. What'd I say, Lemmy? I said Andrew Fairweather Lowe. That's the fucking guitarist for Sting. I don't know how that came out of my demented brain, but yes, Andrew Wood. Fantastic. And think about that. I think and I hate that he passed, and I love that album that they did. Apple is the name of the album. But Pearl Jam would have never been if that hadn't
So the name
happened.
was Apple, and it was on Apple Music.
No. It wasn't. It was never on Apple Music. It was way before Apple. The name of the band
Yeah, but
was,
it was on the Apple label, you said.
well, I thought it was an Apple label. The name of the album is, if you go to the Google and you go Mother Love Bone Apple, that pulls up the album. That's the only album they
Oh.
have. Do you remember Temple of the Dog? Hunger
No.
Strike. That was the song
Oh,
with
yeah.
Chris Cornell and Eddie Vedder.
Yeah.
Dude, I hate to interrupt. I
That
gotta bounce. The wife just texted me. Time for
Oh,
a movie.
dude. All right, watch a movie, dude. I'm
We'll see
sorry.
you, Steve.
See you guys. See you, Shane. See you, Javon. See you guys in the chat.
See you, brother. Hey, if you're ever not working during the week, I also go live now at 10:15 on Tuesdays.
Yeah, we're leaving Monday again for another 12 days. So I'll see
Let me
you guys
know
in
when you're in
like 2
town, buddy.
weeks. All right. Bye.
They did, Lemmy, and that's the whole thing. I don't know what would have happened. I think Pearl Jam is one of the greatest bands, and I was big on 10. I didn't get into them after that, but I can appreciate their ability to stay relevant. However relevant that is, they're relevant like the Dead is. They might not have top 10 songs, but they sell out every time they tour. And they can play Madison Square Garden a couple of nights. You know, they can do multiple nights in one place. So they don't have to go to as many places to make their bag, right?
Yeah.
But Mother Love Bone, I urge anybody, you can listen to it for free on Spotify, but it's called Mother Love Bone Apple. I think we ought to get a copyright strike real quick. Hold on.
I'm going to doing that now.
Oh, I'll take it off. When they strike it, I just trim it out. Mother Love Bone. Stargazer. No, I'm going to do Chloe. All right. Let's see if I can. Let's see if
Before
we.
you get started, Juan, I got to get back to work. I was just going to jump on for a minute.
Shane, I wish you, I'm glad you got the knife finished. You get on, plan a time to come, and we got a tabletop view and you can show some stuff off. I know right now you're just getting everybody's stuff done. You'll have a time when you want to.
I got 6 finished, I think, that are all sold. I've got 3 to deliver local this weekend. So I got to
Stevie
get on
is
and get them
exactly
knocked out.
correct. That's exactly what happened. And Matt Cameron didn't drum for Mother Love Bone, did he? Crispy Critter has been a member for 16 months. Dude, thank you.
Probably no live stream tonight, guys, because I don't want to. It's not that I don't want to step on said faction's toes, but I don't want to miss said faction either. So we'll try it tomorrow night or Monday night or something.
Gotcha. Jeff
So
Ament
anyway.
was also Jeff Ament almost quit, dude. He was about to leave Seattle.
Yeah. See you guys.
Dude, have a good night, Shane. Keep in touch, brother. Y'all give me 2 seconds. I'm gonna see if Tippy's outside. I'll be right back. I'm talking not 2 seconds. Give me like 15 seconds. That's all it should take. Hold on. All right, kids. We are back. We are back. Greg Gilmore. See, Stevie's in the area. He was at a lot of those concerts. He probably saw Mad Season. I know he saw Alice in Chains because he's talked about it. But yeah, Mother Love Bone. Let me get back to that. So let's see if that's not enough. Let's get to where they. I'm going to put the link in the description because I really don't want to. This is off singles, but this is the album. There's there are a lot of great songs on the album, and it's called Mother Love Bone 1. It looks like this. And then we're going to do the giveaway, so you guys are welcome to hang with me because I'm not going anywhere. But you don't have to be too late. In case you need to go rub one out before Stevie goes live. So here is the album. And if you just Google it, it pulls up all the songs, right? So it's called Mother Love Bone Apple. Looks like that. There's Stone, Jeff Ament, and Andy is right here. Rest in peace. But like this song to me is ripping. Let's see if it plays it. I guess it's not going to play it. Let's do this. A commercial, fuck that. Anyway, y'all go check out Mother Love Bone Apple. It's well worth a listen. It is really good shit. You're exactly right, Stevie. That song, and you've got to listen to the lyrics and how the lyrics and the melody work together. It is intense. What is up, NPC, EDC? Welcome from, is it Salt Lake City or Stardog Champion is their best? I was trying to remember what that was actually called. I also like Shangri-La. What was it called? This is Shangri-La. The whole album just rocks because I really think that Stone Gossard and Jeff Ament are freaking awesome. And I'm a big Mike McCready fan. And he came back from the edge of death. I've been watching, I don't know why, but Foo Fighters videos. I'm not a Foo Fighters fan, but I'm starting to totally get into Foo Fighters. I'm thinking that they're just totally the shit. And to me, it's just so tragic that old, what's his name, Taylor, got counterfeit fucking drugs and died. That just sucks. I mean, I would think if you're in a traveling band, you would have access to real pharmaceuticals. Just tragic. I mean, it's again, the war on drugs, a huge fail. Ron Dobbins, what's going on, buddy? Well, let's talk about some knives. What was I going to show you guys? This little guy. Again, I'm not for cheap knives, but this is a cheap, thin, well-made knife. Micarta handles, G10 liners, D2, $37. Small, 6 inches. I found it at Walmart. It's called Swiss Tech. It's packaged like an iPhone. All recycled materials, all ready to go right back and be recycled again. I give them kudos for that. And then the knife that I'd never hung out with, but now I want one, even though it's big for me, a Spyderco Mule. And we're about to go to Amazon and see if we can find these handles, because Shane says these handles are a dime a dozen, but to me, they're spectacular. Pine cone and resin. But this one's Magna Cut. It is a beast. And when I was learning about, you guys probably knew this, but I knew that the Spyderco Mule team tested out different steels and did some different stuff that was, I guess, requested by the Mule team people, whoever. But they also varied the heat treats to try to push the heat treat to get it as, I mean, it's kind of like their research division or one of them. Jim Miller, what's up, brother? Gnarly Charlie, what's up? You guys are slipping in and I'm not seeing y'all. Good to see everybody. We're going to do a giveaway here in a second. And the way we're probably going to do it, I'll let y'all choose. We could do a numbers game. I can't throw up a video because I don't have one. Let me see. I think I've got a video though that's got no views. Hold on. Let's go. It's got a couple, but nothing major. Hold on. Let's see this. Let's go to this and this. This. How many views? We're at 27 views. All right, we won't use that one. So we could either do a random StreamYard. What's up? No, I like numbers too. I really do. I think numbers are the fairest, and with only 55 people in here, let's do that. I'm gonna do that. And what we're gonna give away tonight is the Helix full-sized concept Helix. Now it's got some dust on the blade because I sharpened it. I can clean that up, but it is a Tonto. It came a Tonto. I sharpened it right. Button lock, no stick, no fail. I spine whacked it. There's a review up on it. No up and down, no side to side. And what's interesting about it is you've got this, it's a big knife, but you've got this up front grip with your jimping and your choil. And then you've got this chopping grip, which is why you've got this jimping here. And I've beaten the hell out of it. And I couldn't get I thought the blade would roll a little bit. And all I got was maybe a couple of microchips where it wouldn't go cleanly through paper. So I just put an edge on it with my TS Prof. But this is a biggie. It's a cool one. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to come up with a number. So if we've got 58 people in here, we'll do between, is 1 and 100 too much? Let's do 1 and 100. Hold on a second. So it will be closest without going over. The only way, if it's a very low number and no one is under, you can be the closest over. Does that make sense? I saw that happen once on JB. So like he picked number 2. Nobody picked number 1. There was like a 5. So we had to vote that, yeah, 5's okay because there's, nobody's under. So, and it's not going to be a low number, so don't worry about that. Well, that's kind of subjective, right? So this is going to be one to 100. Now, the caveats are must be 18, must have a U.S. mailing address or a proxy in the U.S., must be kind, and it must be legal in your state. You're responsible for the knife laws in your state, blade links and stuff like that, but you don't have to take it. So if it's not something that works for you and you win it, send me an email, give me the situation, or gift it to somebody else in the chat, and we'll find something for you. So the number is going to be 1 through 100. Whoops. If I could type, it would help. 1 through 100. Don't guess yet because I don't have a number. I don't want to be, let's do this one. All right. For some reason, I struggled on that one. Not yet, Ginger Fisher. I'm going to put up start, and then you guys go to town. So everything under my start, B for Bear, and you and Ginger Fisher, throw your numbers in again right after this. So the start's up there. Everybody can put in their numbers between 1 and 100. And it's the closest without going over. And I'm just watching them go. I see a close one. I'm going to circle it. Knife nut. Look at y'all playing for each other. Dang, Ross. I'm not putting my age in there. Although I don't care. I'm old. I'm like on the back side of the mountain, but I'm comfortable with it. No, ain't no shame in my game. Nobody listens to Eric. We got Mayor Salt for Palm. How many people still have to get in there? We still got numbers coming in. We still got numbers coming in. Everybody in, I'm going to give it about 30 seconds. Kathleen, it's not a contest. Age is just a number, sweetheart. 15, 14. When I type in a stop, it's going to be everything between the stop and the start. 10, 9, 8. Numbers 1 through 100, guys. Throw one up if you haven't. And if there's a tie, we have to do a knife off. So here's the stop. 63. Homer got in. Homer was close. The number is 72. And I saw a couple of 72s. So we're going to have a knife off, I think. Ground fog. And I may have jacked that up because when I would see people that were close, I was probably calling them out. And you can blame that on me. The next one will be more, or I'll have more of a poker face. Leatherworks was right there, one over. But then I saw another 72. Nobody listens to Eric. And we had a bunch of close ones. We had Dang Ross at 70. We had Knife Nut at 69. When he said duh, I was thinking, damn, I was trying to get away from that number. I didn't expect it to be close. Let me see if there are any other 72s. Nope. 72 for Nobody Listens to Eric. And we've got 72 for Demonoc, who probably picked up on my poker face. So we're going to see what karma does. And whoever wins, like I say, these knives, I know the number game, look how close you were, though. The random, what I need to do, and the only reason I don't want to do it is I don't want to draw people in for giveaways. And if I put a knife video out there that says this is for Friday Night Flicks, I know they've got to be in here, but I got to come up with a better way. I don't like the StreamYard random picker because I mail out all these gifts, right? These knives, not gifts, these wins. And there's just repetition. There are things that to me don't seem random. And it's not the people playing's fault. I just think it's the way that the StreamYard giveaway tool works, right? Or doesn't work. And it could just be random. And random, somebody could win 10 times in a row. That's random. But I agree, numbers game isn't fun. But the cool part is we've got a knife off. So I'm going to come up with a number 1 through 20. And the only two people voting or guessing, oh, 1931 Leatherworks. I know you're not, buddy. I know you're joking. It's all good. But one's close, dude. I thought you were in. And then I was like, no, there's going to be people under there. So only Nobody Listens to Eric and Ground Fog, where the numbers are 1 through 20. And I'm going to try to come up with a number that nobody's going to think I'm thinking of. And I'm just going to sit here. I'm going to give no poker faces. Oh, Nobody Listens to Eric, dude. You got a knife off. It's just drop a number. I'm going to put a start in here. And all you got to do is drop in a number between 1 and 20. And then Demonoc will drop in a number between 1 and 20. And then one of y'all email me. If you both email me, I'll hook you both up with a little something. I'll make sure you don't leave empty-handed. Put it that way. I'll hit you with a flashlight, pen, something. So you're both winners. Ground Fog, 11. Throw in a number, nobody listens to Eric. Any number. And I know you're trying to pass, and that's cool, but I want you to 3. All right. So I want both of you guys to email me, but the number was 14, and Eric or Demonoc was closer. So Demonoc, congratulations. You are the Helix winner. That goes, Ground Fog. I said Demonoc. My bad. Ground Fog is the winner. So I'm going to drop my email here. I want both of you guys to email me and just say, this is from the giveaway. And I will send the knife out to ground fog, and then I'll make sure that I put together a package for you too. Nobody listens to Eric. Let me make sure I write my email address in here right. I'm really bad at that. I need to get. Have y'all ever seen those? Not Stream Decks, Elgato Stream Decks. Yeah, that's what they're called. Have y'all ever seen those? It's a little hardware thing about that big that has a bunch of buttons on it that you can program shortcuts to. So I could like have my email address in one where I just push a button and it comes into the chat, or I could have it do other shit, like any shortcut that's available in StreamYard, which I've never looked at shortcuts, so I don't know what is available. But you can set your one button to do different shit. Yeah, congratulations. I don't think Ground Fog's won before. Not in here. Maybe he has. Yeah, and hats off to Nobody Listens to Eric. Nobody Listens to Eric tried to step out and do something kind for someone and just pass, right? That's the kind of thing that is awesome. And you could have easily just donated it if you wanted to him, but too kind, brother, too kind. Show you a couple other knives. I don't know if Brother Grant's going to come or not, but this little guy is the Big Idea Design Lookout. Now, this one is an M390, and it's OEM by Best Tech. But this company's in Chattanooga, and they just released about a month ago 475 of these in MagnaCut made in Chattanooga. So this fall, which is either early September, mid-September, they're going to do another run of 475 of these. They're $300, the USA ones. They come in a wooden box. And the only thing that makes me sad about the USA made one is it comes with a leather sheath. But I bet these sheaths work with them because the sizes are the same. And what's great about the sheath that comes with the imported one, which is $200, which I'm much more comfortable paying, but it comes with two sheaths, a right and a left. And Big Idea Design Company does a lot of weird titanium stuff, right? And they've designed this clip that mounts right there in the center, and you can take it off and put it in the left-handed one. But what it does is it carries this so deep, and I carry it in my back pocket. And this is a little guy. So for example, if you look at this next to the axial, it's a much smaller knife. If you look at it next to a Devo Lush, Ron Dobbins, thank you, buddy. If you look at it next to a Devo Lush, which is a small knife, it's much smaller, right? But it's still got, to me, a very usable handle. And for me, maybe it's just because of my carry style and I only open boxes and cat food, which is sad, but that's the truth. I use my fixed blades more for the few cuts that I make. I like having my folders in my pocket, but you know, that's just about it. And I need to give, I didn't do it before, so I'm going to do 2 celebrations. Hold on. I downloaded a new effect. Let me find it. I'm trying to find something that's unique, but there's nothing that's unique. Let's see. Where is it? Where is it? There it is. I could do like Stevie. That was me Monday night, but it was much worse. Much worse. That's the one I like. Thank you, Ron. Thank you, Ron. Thank all of you. All of you that are contributing or just hanging out with me. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I appreciate you all. Nobody listens to Eric. They're on the primary. You're following him on Instagram, right? If you're not, you should. And what I do, I got 2 of my chickadees on the secondary because they do become available. And I've gotten both of mine for very good prices. I bought one from Lefty he was more of an ass and ripped my head off. But then I got one from Honey Bear, and he made me a great deal, and it included an oak leather sheet. Mexican Pizza Sounds. I've got that one too. That's my that's this one right here. I got this one specifically for, where is it? Where is it? That's the sounds that I was dealing with. Okay, nobody listens to Eric. Shoot him a DM and say, hey, I've been interested in one of your knives. Javon said that maybe DMing you would help me get a heads up on when you were going to drop one. I'd really love to have one, you know, something like that. And he will keep you updated. He did it for me. And he might sell you one, because I'm guessing if he's releasing 40 to Rivers Edge cutlery, he's probably got 42 to 44. I know if I'm a maker, I would rather sell direct if I had the traffic to my website to support that, because I'm going to make a larger margin than if I pay a dealer and get that margin. So it's all about, they're just people like us. And he's one dude from what I understand. I would DM him. And I'll tell you something about Jason, because everybody, Shane, I wish he was still here, because he just jokingly gives me a hard time when I'm not posting Nazi memorabilia. But this right here, Jacob does not do, and I want one of these knives. I'm just not currently buying, but he does not just little knives. Chickadees are great, and that's what got me into the whole fixed blade woo-ha. But check these out. These are Hail Marys, both spear points, drop points, and I think those are Tontos on the front. And those are bigger knives. So that's probably, I'm guessing, a 7-incher. And he does all his chirogenic quenching and his heat treating right there, all his grinds. And then he's got this little guy that I thought was very attractive, the Street Dwellers. And the blade steel, well, this is here, but usually the blade steel is under his handle. And then he's doing just some other stuff too. So it's not just chickadees. For those of you who kind of like to support American and like what he does with work, follow him on Instagram, because most of what he's doing is larger, right? It's larger than the chickadees. Now, I think the chickadees are probably his most popular model. They're his bread and butter, and he has dealers that are requesting them, like this one. And I'm kind of collecting blade steels right now. I've got S90V and a full flat. I've got a 3/4 flat with Magna Cut, and I've got a 3/4 flat with 20 CV. But like this knife right here, I'm really all about it. I like it. The Hail Mary. And I forget how long it is. Let's do this. Let's go to Jacob Creates website. Are y'all still with me? Am I still sharing with y'all yet? All right, let's see if we can find out how long this guy is. 155. So this is a lot cheaper than the, why? Okay, so this is 155 Magna Cut micarta. And my 5-inch, this is 6.5. My 5-inch chickadee is 275. Dude, 155 to me, oh, that's just the down payment. 275, same price. And I don't, that doesn't surprise me. I don't think that small, tiny knives, even though you're saving a little bit on materials, and they're not the same price. The Street Dweller is 175. S35VN. So he makes, I think he's trying to offer different stuff. But I'm a fan. I like his work. He's the guy that Lefty's the idiot who influenced me to want one of his. And then I bought the Tucson TS150, which is what I would recommend anybody looking for a tiny first time EDC knife to see if they would carry it, if they want a tiny one, which not a lot of people want tiny. I'm kind of the one that liked tiny knives. But this little guy, when I bought it, it was G10 S90V, and it was like 54. And this one, the new one, is M390 and carbon fiber, and it's 64. But this is a 1/2 inch shorter than the Chickadee. But it's a great little knife. And your ulti clip or your straps will fit through these eyelets. They're big enough. So I'm a big fan if you're thinking about a fixed blade and you can find like this knife. I was bummed out. This one's, I want to say 6 inches or 7. I could not get my horizontal straps or my ulti clip through the eyelets because they're too narrow, too small. 6 inches. But it comes with this just plastic clip that's plenty to hold on your belt, and you can mount it vertical or scout. And I've been carrying this appendix on my belt, and it carries great. So I wish, and if I ever could, and I talked to Voss Steed about this, I don't know if they fixed it, but I've talked to Jason too. I think these, you can choose what size of these you buy when you set up for your Kydex pressing kit, but you want to make sure these are big enough, I would, for the hardware that you're going to use, which I would say is this eyelet. See that eyelet? Bueno, muchas good. This one, much smaller. You can get the screw through, but you can't get the other side. So that's just my important thought, that, yeah, you want it to fit. You want to be able to have your choice of what you're going to carry. So I'm trying to think, for next week, I know this is going to be one of the giveaways. And this is a great little knife. As you guys know, I'm a Voss Steed fan. I just failed it. This is the mini acorn. I never tried the full-size acorn, but I imagine it would be even better, although this fits my hand perfectly. Little 14C G10 liner lock, simple knife, but simply effective, if that's accurate. I mean, it works really well. And I've also got a fixed blade that I forgot I had. Let me grab it. All right. So this is a bigger fixed blade that I normally carry, but I put the straps on it. It has I want to say it has a full-size ulti clip. I don't send them with my straps, but this is a County-Com bruiser of a knife. This is something County-Com does, a lot of military surplus stuff. But this guy, it's not a 1/4 inch thick, but it is very thick, and it's got a thin G10 handle. It's roughly 0.1865 thickness, but it's D2. It's got this G10 handles. It's pretty thin, so it holds very well. I've beaten this knife and cleaned it and beaten it and cleaned it. And on the back, it says Meritech 165 of 500. But this is going to be, I don't know if I'll do them both next week. I don't know if I'll slip one in Tuesday night But I know the Acorn and this County-Com survival knife, because I don't carry this. I like it. I love the shape. My feedback was make a little one, but nobody wants to make little knives because most people like big knives. I'm the only evidently guy that likes little tiny knives. But yeah, another knife that looked really cool to me was that new Griffin Company fixed blade. And I forget what it was called. Let me find it real quick. It's a hollow grind, kind of pokey stabby. Griffin Co. I should go to Combat Beads. Let's see this. Nope, I didn't want to go there. Fuck. Go back. Combat Beads. EDC, boom. Shop knives. All right, this knife right here. Let me share it. So I've got the Scout 2.5 and I've got the Scout Medic, and they're decent knives, but this one's on another level cool to me. Hollow ground, fixed blade. Forget what the blade steel is. MagnaCut. The blade steel on both of mine's S35. Still OEM by Best Tech. The size 7 inches, a little bit long for me, but I could dig with it. Nice pocket dropper. I love the concealed carry style clip that mounts really low. I have no affiliation with these guys. I don't even have an affiliate link with them, but I think it's a really cool knife. I've never tried one of their folders. I don't know why. It's just never really spoken to me. And they look like too much other stuff, but I do like their little fixed blades. They're cool. I saw Stevie. I was looking at Keith the Knife Freak's Instagram today, and I saw that he was using ammo cans as quench tanks, and I thought that was really cool. He was the guy that was nice enough to hook me up with my Tonto Spyderco when he saw that I was hardcore looking for one. Where is he? Let me find him, Keith. So I didn't know. I knew he did the little, like what Metal Complex calls the Obsidian.
Seconds to explore the mysteries of a proper quench tank and why I think these ammo cans fit the bill. Number one, first of all, this is one of these bigger ammo cans. From what I can see that's blacked out, it says 30 millimeter on there. So I don't know. It's big though. This probably holds 5 or 6 gallons of fluid if you were to put fluid in here. But what makes them nice? Number one, obviously they're made out of steel. So if you're quenching a knife blade or something, and you accidentally hit the side or you accidentally drop it in there, it's not going to melt the hole through it. If you use plastic, it pops a hole, it melts a hole in it, and then you start leaking oil everywhere, which is a mess. Number two, the entire lid comes off so that you have open access.
I find it fascinating though, but I did not know he was.
I must admit, this broadbed grinder is definitely a.
But anyways, I would urge you guys to follow Brother Keith the Knife Freak. And that's true, Stevie, but I love a resourceful cheap ass because you don't need, I mean, if you look at Jacob Creates, and to quote Shane, his overpriced little fixed blade, he's got really nice quenching tanks. They look like nitrous tanks, which he probably started off with full medical grade nitrous and huffed it and then used the can. But yeah, I think that's really cool that he's doing that. I think it's cool anybody who does it, and I do respect it. And the other thing I wanted to talk about, I wanted to ask, I found it fascinating. Do y'all know who Professor EDC is? One of my favorite Sunday shows besides Saitu Dave, it's Throwback, and I'm afraid to say it, I do watch some Knife Guy by Metal Complex, but Professor EDC's Bladeosophy. Have y'all seen this week's Bladeosophy? He lives in Mexico. He records in Spanish, most of his content, but he also does his Bladeosophy in English and Spanish. And I'm going to share a link. I'm not going to discuss it. I found it very interesting. I found it brave. And I found it very hard to argue with. And he even says it's not right or wrong. It's just, it's interesting for me. And this Professor EDC, I think, is actually a philosopher. I think that's what he does in Mexico. But did y'all see it? Morning, Messer. This is it, guys. And if not, I'll put his channel name in there and you can go find it. But it's the name of the video is Bladeosophy: Should YouTubers Design Blades? Response to Ben Peterson's NAFs. And I found it very interesting. I didn't take, I mean, there's not a side to take. It's just, it's pontification, right? It's throwing a lot of ideas out there. And I just thought it was interesting. And if you guys aren't aware of this guy's content, I think he's one of the most interesting reviewers because he's reviewing from Mexico. He talks about knives that are available there, American knives. He's talking about other knives he has to get there. And he's got a great collection. I think he works with a lot of companies here. I don't know how many subs he's got, not that it matters, but he's got great content. Follow him. And I can't watch his reviews because they're in Espanol and I don't speak Espanol. I sprechen Sie Deutsch. Ein bisschen Deutsch. Ich bin einer. Yeah, I'm not going to say it. But anyways, I want to thank said Stevie for being the first by a few minutes to remind me or to point out that I was not just shilling for my buddies at Devo Knives. I actually own 3 of the S90V nips, and I bought every one of them, one from Traditional Pocket Knives, one from White Mountain, and one from Devo, the purple nurple. And then I bought one and I had them arranged and I thought it was a neat pattern, right? Because it was symmetrical. So I took a picture of it, put it on Instagram. It sat there for fucking hours. I forget how many likes it had. And I'm sure it had a bunch of hate. And I'm sure I lost a lot of subscribers over it. But Stevie said, put it in one of our groups. He goes, look, John did a great promotion for Devo. And I was about to say, dude, I bought those Devos. Those weren't given to me. And then I looked at it and it was a goddamn swastika sign. I mean, I literally did not see it when I took the picture, but when I looked at it again, it is a glaring. I had them set up, top one like this, and each of them going like that, and like that. And I mean, like Stevie said, it's too late. It's already been screen clipped. So I have German lineage. My grandfather came across as part of Operation Paperclip. I did post a perceivable insensitive image to Instagram. And if you want to cancel me, I don't give a fuck because I don't think that way. Cancellation to me is kind of funny because I was canceled. I've been canceled so many times. But guys, it's been about 3 hours. We had a winner. We'll have more giveaways next week, maybe Tuesday night, depending on what it's looking like. I'd like to make a video, but I don't think you can make a video just available. I can make it members only, but I can't make it subscribers only. So I know people search for the word giveaway, and I just don't want to bring people in. Dude, and what's so funny is Shane called me today, Stevie, because he said, when I heard about that, I laughed so hard because knowing it was you, because you talk about your grandfather on your live. And I was like, oh, dude, I know. I mean, it comes off like, yeah, this is this guy's real thought. I'm choose hate, not debate, motherfucker. But I thought it was funny, dude. And it was so funny because I went and scrambled and I looked at it before I pulled it down. It was like 28 likes, something like 7 comments. I'm like, I didn't even read them. I just deleted it. It was gone. And then I posted this stupid, haphazardly thrown up picture because I was still just in such horror where I had both my nips like that, just kind of set on a napkin. I mean, it didn't even look like anything. It was just like one of the drama YouTubers posting an apology. It was a joke. But guys, I love you all. I'm gonna go get ready for said Stevie. I know we got a little while, but we've gone a little over 3 hours. Y'all have been awesome. Love hanging out with you. All I ask is please, please, please look out for the guy or gal to your left. Please, please, please look out for the guy or gal to your right. Look out for each other, guys. Go forward with love in your heart. Go watch said Stevie. I'm going to do my best to stay awake, and I will see you there shortly. I love you all. Peace.